Okay, guys. Here's where we're going. I'm not even gonna try to prepare you for what your ears are about to receive from this conversation. Like, this conversation went up, around the corner, down, stuff happened. Super entertaining. Stick with it. You'll see we transition. We get into a lot of different stuff. If you do follow me on Instagram, you can see a lot of the background stuff. We were doing the behind the scenes stuff on Snapchat and Instagram. So you go to my page, Jay Danzy, or the IGR podcast page. It should be up on that official page soon, but it's definitely up on my page as well as Taylor's page. I don't know if I said it before, but we are officially sponsored by Vision Apparel, and we love that collab with them. We're gonna be doing some merch down the road, some cross promotion stuff. So please also go and look up Vision Apparel. That's what Dante Amaral, Guhan, cannot remember his last name. Love Guhan, just forgot his last name right now while I'm doing this. And Taylor. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me, dude.
You're welcome. You look like someone has a gun in your head.
No, I'm just really high.
Okay. Oh, so audience, we are back. This is part 2, episode 2. We have Dante Amaral with us again. Taylor walked in and he joined us. Taylor Williams, we alluded to him quite a few times during our interview. Yeah. So let's get to know Taylor a little bit. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm just happy to be here right now.
So where are you from? What do you do?
So
who are you?
Me as a person, as an organism. I guess I grew up in New York, Manhattan. And
bougie.
Then, I was living that life, I was living. And then my dad didn't graduate college, got drafted, went to the NFL. My mom followed him. They went to Florida.
Mm-hmm. And your dad is?
My dad's name is Michael Williams.
You can name drop on this.
I'll name drop Michael Williams. Nice guy.
Good genetics.
Big genetics, you know what I'm saying? But
long.
Me, I go back. I go all the way to Danbury type shit. I don't know if you can curse on here, but that's what I do.
Dude, you can curse. I'm just going to title it explicit, so Mayor Mark won't listen to it.
Oh, okay. Word.
So I have to get him on next.
Get me on here with Mayor Mark, bro.
Dude,
let me flip the switch.
Tell him right now, who else better to build Danbury than the youth? We've seen it from all sides.
Do you know what my issue is with Mark? It's his marketing.
Wait, why is it so poor?
This is what the dude ran for governor 3 times. I didn't even know.
Wait, are you serious?
Can I tell you? I worked his campaign. I worked in his office.
How come you worked his campaign? I didn't even know he was running for governor.
That's the problem.
Bro, he was running as a Well, no, the thing was he was running as a Republican candidate, so people really liked him. But he just didn't have the funding, and all these other people were so good at marketing. They had substantially more money, and they had. But the thing was, they had amazing marketing.
But Obama changed the game with social media.
He used Facebook, and that was insane.
You're clipped from the beginning.
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought you meant Mark did now.
No,
you said Obama did back then.
No, Obama did.
Yeah.
But when Facebook was really getting big and people were starting to use it, that's where he was marketing. So he was able to grab a large demographic, which is now what we see Trump doing, and people like Ted Cruz that also got elected. But that's Cambridge Analytical stuff. But it does work. And why does it work? Because you're giving a platform for people to... I really think that it's crazy because it's taking the democracy away from us. Because if we're being flooded with 100%. Because they're targeting people that are persuadable when they do that. So not only are they looking for the people that are 18 that can vote, but they're doing it on a platform that every single person's on. So even when kids are young and they don't even know what's going on when they see these commercials, they're building their own this is what I saw. And if it's a negative campaign, what are they going to think? They're going to have nothing to go off except to see that.
And this is what I should be believing.
100%.
That's so fucked.
There's even companies like Cambridge Analytical.
Right.
And this is a European data
mining.
And just so everybody knows, data was more profitable than oil was last year. And and it will be for the continuous future.
Absolutely.
It's insane. And we see all these advancements in technology, but with the more technology and advancements there are, the less protection we have. The Constitution doesn't protect us. That shit was made in the 1700s.
You've got the Patriot Act. I mean, which gives a ton of stuff away. Like, that's bogus. And then, you know what? We've been indoctrinated, I feel like, over time to just clicking the accept terms and conditions. Accept terms and conditions.
Yeah, I don't read that.
And then little by little, we're like, okay, well, Apple has all my rights, Google has all my rights, Facebook has all my rights.
But dude, but who owns them? And the thing is, like, it's all hackable. Like, there's nothing that's like man-made. That's everything's flawed in some nature. So like, whoever you're giving your stuff to doesn't just belong to them, and they're making money off that, selling it to third parties and all these other small distributors. And you're like, wait, why did I just get that ad? That's exactly what I was talking about. I think
we gotta be more worried about like the Chinese companies that are coming in here and taking our using our terms and conditions, and it's like
my mom deleted my brother's TikTok today. She grabbed the phone from him and was like, "I told you about TikTok." And
the Chinese are invading.
I'm like, yo,
the Chinese have been invading. Like, real talk, like how many Fortune 500 companies are backed by Chinese right now? A lot.
I can't speak on that because I don't know, but I would feel like it would be a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. If you look at the data, you're like, oh, and it's not like little it's chunks. Like
it's big boy
it's like 12,
numbers.
15.
Well, did you guys talk about how there are literally like Chinese ports that are owned?
No.
For like, tell them about that.
Dude,
jump on that and tell them what it is, dude. Just tell them what it is.
Silk Road.
The One Belt. Belt.
Explain to the audience. I know what you mean. Explain to the audience.
Well, China's just trying to become like the center of trade, like for the whole world, and China 2025, baby. They're building ports in a bunch of countries that need money, and they're signing away 10 to 100-year contracts,
bro.
putting Chinese law in those ports. They got no jurisdiction on what goes on over there.
I watched a documentary on Netflix about that. It was like no, it wasn't even on Netflix. It was on this channel called the DW on YouTube.
Yeah,
the DW, love it. It was like probably like 2 hours. I said, yo, this is real.
You can't, honestly, as a business person, when I look at what China's doing, I'm going,
I can't hate it. I don't hate it.
Wow, like, why is everyone over here like playing like silly games when like these men are making real executive decisions, and everyone's just at the table going, yeah, it's China, yeah,
but it's
China.
also cultural though, because like,
oh, absolutely.
With us here, we think about short-term returns, right? Instant gratification. They've got they didn't take 100-year lease for no reason.
No,
because they're thinking in
that's
generational.
A reservation. It's a reservation.
That's what they do.
Think about it. You just captured at least 3 to 4 years, generations of people in that, like that you have control over something.
Straight up.
And it's like I don't even know if the world's gonna be around that long. But even if it is, like you're putting these people in the perfect position to do so.
People have kids every 25 years. Say 25 years. 25. You've registered for 100 years. You got what? 3-4 kids?
Bro, all I know is we also be taking mad of their people like into our country to like teach them and like everything. But then we send them back and we're like giving them all this information. And I feel like they just seeing how everything works. Like I also feel like coronavirus was a test to see how fast we could bounce back from something that they released and like
so we just got real. We just got real.
That's
Drop
a real
clues bomb.
That's a real bomb because I've actually been pondering that idea. Like when you think about it.
No one knows we're
ready for this.
Of.
Dante was going to talk about this before the
Think
podcast.
about warfare in the future.
Okay.
They can't be dropping nukes. Like, we'll all be gone. They're
Hundo
too smart for that.
Hundo P. I was like, bro, what?
Economic, and it's going to be, like, contagious and viral.
Hundo P.
And it's like, when you think about it, it's like, if America wanted to prep itself for this, what better way than to flood the media with a virus that spreads really bad but doesn't really kill?
Because then America's gonna be the one really releasing those fucking things because they'd be like, no, I feel like we're gonna have to walk around with like dead ass stuff on our face, like some mask,
like a mask. Like
I think air is gonna be the newest the resource that you're gonna have to pay for that you really don't have to pay for because it's like water almost.
What do you mean? What do you mean qualified? What do you mean?
I'm telling you, like clean air is becoming harder and harder to find. Like we're seeing with the pollution, we're seeing with all of these studies, and even how with the coronavirus itself slowed the economy down, so there wasn't that much pollution in a lot of places.
You see, LA, India,
crazy smog, like all that shit hasn't been happening, and it's like okay, Mother Nature fought back for a bit. But the air quality is about to get real low, and if you think it's going to get better, it's not. So I think that air is going to be the next thing that people are going to be paying for because it's going to be something that not everyone can afford and not everyone can have. And it's going to be like water and food, and like it's really about to be like that. Like you look at air filtration systems for your homes, and those are thousands of dollars.
Yep.
So like
not everyone can afford that.
No, they can't. I was looking at one for my basement because I'm mad allergic to everything. Like I don't know if my mom dropped me on my head when I was a kid, but I'm allergic to everything. And I don't know.
She messed my senses up.
No, I really don't know what happened. But on real, like I really feel like these are the things that are gonna have to, like only the rich are going to be able to afford. And I've seen like
that scares me.
Not rich people have no issue saying, yo, stay home. Like, okay, but there's not a yacht like outside my house, and there's not a movie theater in my okay.
Like, I think it's gonna be
there is a movie theater in my house, but what I'm saying is like not everybody has that.
Oh wait, yes I do.
But like still like
do you know how to drop the flex?
Yeah, it's subtle. I ain't got no Gucci on, so I got to drop from it.
drop the flex. All right, buddy.
No, but it's still like, easier for some people to manage during these times, and like
100%.
people are getting tested that have money, like straight up. So if you weren't getting tested, like you're probably one of the people that can't pay millions of dollars if like we gotta do something. You know?
I think it's gonna be more of a class game. Like this is what we talk about in school a lot. Like me and my boys at school. Like like race. Like okay, you're black, you're biracial. This that. Over the next 100 years, people are all gonna have damn near the same skin tone, right?
We're all
gonna be, you know what I mean? Pretty much.
I feel like I'm getting
clothes.
less black every day, bro.
Oh my god. So I know what I'm saying though. It's like we're all gonna have the same skin tone. It's gonna be a class thing. Do you have bread to rock with us or not?
No, I think you're wrong because I think it's about to be us humanoids that have some sort of chip.
Species.
A subspecies.
Now think about it. You right for that.
And a hundo P because we know that Elon Musk is working on. So you know
the Neuralink.
Yes.
Neuralink.
So if you can cure a lot of these diseases, and you can kind of, you know what I mean, that. And think about just how capitalism's going to play a role. I know you were talking about that the other day,
Let's
right?
get into that. Go ahead.
Honestly, and this is coming from like a very capitalistic, and I would say, oh, you scared me. I thought that was a huge spider.
It kind of is.
Dante's got incense going right now. Just to let everyone know.
Yeah, it smells beautiful in here.
Is incense and insects?
I feel like he wants to do something to us.
What were you talking about?
Well, we were just talking about capitalism
AI.
inside AI and how like
this is coming from like a very not very conservative. I feel like I'm very independent in my views, but I would say I'm conservative leaning when it comes to most of my views.
Yeah,
I think when talking about like Elon Musk's Neuralink, and people are making what this could happen in like 5 to 10 years. People's brain capacities are working at 10 to 100 times the rate. It's like having a phone in our brain. Like think about that. You can't play the capitalistic game with that. It's impossible. You would lose every time. And like the way like companies have been formed is like there's a very with big companies getting bigger and less small business. Like that, in sense, is what China's doing in their like quasi state companies, because China owns a piece in like all their companies. If you think about it,
let's be real.
If you think about it, the more we go towards big companies and less small business, the more it's just becoming like state and big tech. Because it's not anything else now. It's big tech, big data, and big brother. From your school. But
it's all going to hell.
But if we got that Neuralink, how can we run capitalism?
Well, because you said that to me the other day. You were like, if it's 20,000 to just cash out, I'm like, all right, listen, I'll get the version X or whatever and just plug in.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Me, no. But if you
why not?
I like my human self. I honestly, you
like your sensibilities.
I'm very content with dying as a human. Like I'm cool with it. Like I don't want no Neuralink. But at the same time, like if I'm a business person. Like how I'm going to be so disadvantaged to kind of language with it.
100%. But now so like that's how you think about it. But then I was like, look, there's that other side of it where you have people that have family members that were positively affected by it, so they got their lives back, and it
That's
changed
how he
their
started.
lives.
Think about it,
And
bro.
when you
Think
have
about
something,
it from a marketing and business perspective.
Wait, what did I say?
He's
What did I say?
changing lives first, like
and he's giving people something that's priceless, and that's hope. And if you give people hope, they will run with that any day of their life, and they'll give up their rights and they'll give up their privacy because
Hope
there's
for a better
hope
life.
for a better life. And that's what we see people do when
be
they
on
leave
top.
their
And that's what
countries to come here. It doesn't matter what it is; it's hope.
And that's what he's selling from the beginning. He's selling like Neuralink isn't supposed to make you this incredible like cyborg being. It's initially what it's supposed to do is cure diseases, like
Right. That was
things that
huge
people would never want to have. And it's like that's great, but like how do you stop that now from being abused?
There's something
You can't.
because how do you go from cure disease to giving you the edge on the market, or downloading like he talked about downloading a language in 2.5 seconds? Now you could communicate in hundreds of different languages and dialects and do business wherever you want.
The same thing with CRISPR. Have you heard of CRISPR?
Slightly, you got to familiarize me with it.
CRISPR's scary.
CRISPR. That sounds familiar. Wait, was it on Rogan?
I don't know. Honestly,
I don't know.
Joe talks about a lot of shit, so it probably would be on Joe Rogan. CRISPR, when you think about it, they're taking the same thing with Neuralink. They're gene editing. So it's like if you have like any type of like trauma or disability,
I think they have one on Netflix about this.
Yeah, you could just edit that gene out and you're completely fine. But now, who's gonna stop you from creating offspring that are 8 feet tall? It's like you can't stop that if you start it. Like once you start, and that's what it's going to create. It's going to create this movement because it's helping diseases. It's helping things that humans don't want, that are bad, that suck. But once you start it, you can't stop it.
The edge. It's all about the edge.
It really is.
That's the human instinct.
It's being better.
That's Darwinism. It's like
straight up.
Can we adapt? But now it's like we have technology to be able to adapt. So do we use that? Like we've seen in China that they have this subspecies that isn't animal, that isn't human, and they get to make things out of that.
That's scary.
So
they got them humanoids, and no one's
we don't even know about that.
Who's gonna say something?
Who's gonna say something to them? Who's going to come to them and say, no, you can't do that? Because PETA's not going to run down that door. And you don't have any...
Not with the Chinese.
We see people destroying people over here. So they're definitely not going to give a shit about these subgroup species of people. So now what do we do? Where do we go from here? Because if you're telling me like, oh, look, I can have wings in 5 years... I might really want some.
I kind of...
Is that the next flex?
But like, what's up?
Is that the next
like
flex?
if you pull up with some angel wings, maybe not angel. I'm talking like pterodactyl on it.
But
That's
how big you think our wings got to be?
I want dragon wings. I want to be like
fly.
Khaleesi. Like I really want to be nice.
What?
oh, like fly
The mother of dragons. Khaleesi with 3 dragons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
I
dragon.
never heard of that.
that's a great...
You're wrong for that.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
You've never
Game
watched
of Thrones?
Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, you need to exit. I gotta go.
That's kind of blasphemic.
gotta go.
My bad.
Wait, you really never watched Game of Thrones?
No, I had no clue what you were talking
Honestly,
about.
if anyone, I think you would watch it.
That's crazy.
It's an amazing... It's a masterpiece.
I'm stuck on The Sopranos right now.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to get back on track a little bit.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, Taylor, tell me about Vision. What made you want to get involved with it, your marketing skills, your passion for it, all that.
Okay, so for me, I feel like I was the last person to know about Vision, and I was super hurt about it because I was like, wait, why does everybody in our group know about it except for me? I was like, I really want to do something like this.
Well, because it started with Dante and Guhan.
But then, like, Haley and Anna, which are, like, 2 of our friends, like, knew about it. And I was like, wait. Do you even, like, want... Are we even boys? And he was like, dude, honestly, like... And I didn't get it at that time. But he was like, dude, I wanted it to be done and, like, come to you with, like, a full-on, like...
Flushed out.
Everything done, like, the hard stuff's done. Like, you just come in and do your magic.
Because that's what the plan was originally. Because like the reason Haley and Annie knew, because Haley did logos. Yeah. So I was like, I want to have a full idea. I want to know how I'm tackling this. I want to have something to present. Because I'm not going to tell my boy about this idea I have and then not do it. Like I need to commit to myself before I tell him. So he was mad hurt when he found out so late.
I know Taylor. He probably was like, oh damn. Like I said, like I see how y'all rolling now. Like oh okay. He's a little butthurt.
Yeah, dude. I was kind of like, yo. I don't know if I like that answer. Like, I hate being the last one to know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, no, like I totally get that. If I had something, I would probably want to do the same exact thing and have it look really good. So I was like, okay, slowly accepting it. And I feel like what I'm good at is just the networking aspect and like putting something together from nothing. Like I'll do all the. I like to look at it the way that Steve Jobs had said that he would hire someone. He was like, I would hire someone that totally just puts in all the work, like crams everything where it's supposed to go, and then gives it to me like as fast as possible over the person that would spend so much time on it that I would never see it. Because he's like, at the end of the day, I'm the one signing off on it. So
I need to see something.
And then I can clear away from what I would want from it or take it and put it with another idea, and then there you go. And I was like, well, that's how I work. I can put a whole bunch of shit together from nothing, and then you say what you like, and we can work together on that playing field. I feel like the marketing aspect is something I love. I like luxury items. I like.
We know you like luxury items.
Yeah.
Tell us about your love for luxury items and your flossing.
I don't know, dude. I feel like I used to be a hype beast a lot more than I am now.
Poquito.
I'll pull up just to flex, like to flex, because I love to, and I feel like that may be just because I'm a black man and I gotta be like, wait for society to accept me. I gotta have like,
that's
obviously
kind of
standards of like that I am better than you and that I do make more money than you, because that's like, if that's not a human instinct, I don't know what is. Like you just want to keep growing and get better, and you're like, wait, maybe I'm a black man now, but maybe you have time for me because I can do something.
Okay, so right, so I want to.
That's my Kanye look on
that got like deep out of nowhere. Like I was not expecting.
Like that's bad, right?
I had a sour face for a second. And I was like, oh wait, he's getting really philosophical.
I saw Dante sort of like turning, like, what is he about to say out his mouth? But then you got deep there. I wanna focus in on that because you are Colombian.
I'm Cuban.
But you're Cuban and you're black, right?
Mm-hmm. Cameroonian and Cuban. Yeah.
But the father that was present in the home with you is Caucasian.
Yeah.
And you have two siblings who are Cuban and Caucasian.
Yes, and they're like, one of them's very pale and then the other one's dark. Like she can get as dark as me in the summer. Like it's crazy.
So it's different growing up. So how did you sort of handle being biracial with a Caucasian dad, but your biracial is not white and black, it's like Hispanic and black. Like, how do you sort of navigate that space?
I would just say intersectionality is one of the craziest things out there because...
Google that word.
Google that word.
Intersectionality.
It's
that like, sounded beautiful, Jay.
I thank you.
I have the Spanish side in me, and then I have this black side, so... My parents are divorced, so I obviously spend time
with both, right?
With both, but not like all the time.
Yeah. Because you live with your mom.
I live with my mom full time, and she's Spanish. So when I see my grandparents, they have a way different view on life and how things should be. So I have to like kind of fit that role in which like a black person typically wouldn't in like their view. But it's like different because they see it differently because they're like you were raised differently, like you're a different person.
Because you identify as a black man.
Yeah, all the time. Because it's the first thing that you see. So like regardless of what happens,
you're
like,
just gonna own that.
You could pull up talking Spanish, and I'm like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I'm lucky
you don't
that
look
this
like
Rosetta
you should be
Stone,
talking,
this Rosetta Stone about to get you in trouble, dog. But then I go to Florida, and then I'm not. I mean, they're not black enough, or like I don't eat the same things, or whatever. And I'm like,
or you speak different. Right?
Yeah,
you have different vocabulary.
I hate that. And then when your boys and your friends are like, "No, Taylor, like you're mad white," like I'm like,
what does that mean? So
like,
is sophistication correlated with being white?
And I'm like, wait, do I have to break it down to a philosophical level? But the one thing I know in both cultures, if you have money or you have drip or you have whatever, like. People will spend the time and they'll listen to you, or they'll say, you know what, maybe that person has something worth saying. You see a Kanye West, someone influential. People want hope. They want to be able to follow something. And because it's easier to follow than to do on your own, people tend to be content and they follow. So I'm like, look, if that's the keys that we're given and I want to have a voice, then I'm going to drip down whatever and I'm going to do it. And you're going to have to either listen or not. But like, any exposure is exposure. It's all news.
What would you say to people that like look up to like Bill Gates and Elon Musk who don't trip at all?
Who don't trip at all.
But they're the biggest flexers.
But they're the biggest, and exactly like I was saying, like people
and shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's all egos. It's all egos. Because, like, look, I see that you're not flexing in one way, but, like, boy, you really gonna name your child that or whatever? I feel like the real issue, though, is that people getting all worked up over this child's name, but they're not worked up over the fact that we're destroying the world, or, like, how much do you really care? You care if that man has a name that doesn't make any sense, or do you care about the people who don't eat and the vets that aren't getting the service? Like,
because it's not in front of them, bro.
Exactly, bro.
That's
the
difference.
Wrong.
Can we talk about
wrong.
if you make more than I think $37,000 USD a year, you are in the 1% of the world?
That's crazy.
People like to talk about the 1%. Oh, look at the 1%
of
here.
America is like the 1% of
Earth. It's 1% of 1%.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy to take things out of perspective and, like, look at all the negatives in life.
Yeah.
And you're mad rude, bro.
No.
I was like, how did he know? I was like, he didn't see it. How would he know?
Dude, Taylor, I know. Like, I let you lie for a minute, but I also know you.
He didn't say anything, and he looked at me, and I was like, all right, let's go back to this thing. And I was like, I'm going to fuck with him now. I was like, I'm making him wait OD long.
I didn't say nothing, but I know his guilt is going to be like, damn, that's my boy. I'm going to have to give it to him. So I just waited him out.
And you're lucky you're my boy, because if I didn't like you, I'd be like, fuck it. I'd be hitting that shit in front of you and putting it in the back of my pocket. I was back, my bad.
I just waited him out, bro. That was it.
I was like, yo, I gotta give him something. Like, I see a second again. You were being philosophical.
Oh, I was saying, like, if it's not in front of people's face, like, it's very easy to, like, lose perspective on, like, other people's lives. And it's, like, very, very easy. I feel like when you're comfortable, and I think most Americans are comfortable. Like, when I say comfortable, I'm saying, like, you don't have to worry about, like, a roof over your head or when you're eating your next meal. Like,
I would
that's
say
comfortable.
I would say yes, but I would also say that anxiety takes over people's lives to the point where, like, you are completely comfortable, but you feel like you're not.
Okay,
and
so
I feel like that makes my mom not comfortable because she's always like, "What bill do I need to pay? What do I need to do?"
But
hold on.
Score is so many different directions.
830.
Yes,
so like she's
exactly.
working, but she's like, I need to pay this and I need to pay this, and they have school, and my siblings go to private school, and she's like, I got to pay that. And
this is what I'm saying though. Once you have shelter and food, you now have other things you can worry about.
Yes.
Because when your mind is consumed,
the privilege to worry about
exactly. When you're consumed with when's my next meal and where am I going to sleep,
that's it.
That's what your worry time is about. You're not worried about your bills. You ain't got no bills because you ain't got no food. So it's like once you enter the next level of comfortability, now new problems arise. But what I'm saying is now you have to take that perspective of what are real problems. Is the real problems that my lights are a little bit too expensive right now?
Ooh.
Or
that I can't filter out my pool?
Yeah. Like, is that the problem? Like, and if it is, put it into perspective with reality because you've fallen out of touch.
Let me jump on that for a minute. Just like a very micro example of that was I was in college, right? And we're sitting there, and me and my friend, we have like good GPAs, all that. We're in the business program, super, super cool. And then we're talking about credit. And then I stopped for a second, and I said, oh, hold on. We have the privilege to even be talking about credit or talking about investment properties and talking about building businesses and talking about all this stuff. And then I got a little deeper, and I said, yo, I'm in a dorm right now.
Right.
Like, think about how many people actually are able to go to college for 4 years, dorm, you know what I mean, do this, do that, let alone if you're in an Ivy or if you're in this and you're in that, like, that's a lot of privilege with that.
And that's what I was saying.
To a certain extent, of course.
Going back to the beginning of what I said in the beginning of the podcast was sorry, I just got distracted. What I was saying in the beginning of the podcast is when I was at Quinnipiac, like, and I first went there and I had like a reverse like shock. It's because of that perspective. It's because of like people aren't worrying or not worrying, but like thinking about like all these like costs that they've accumulated in their life because they've always been taken care of like by their like parents. And that's what freaked me the fuck out. It was like because like they didn't really get it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jay, you're not even here. Do you know what I mean by that?
Can you repeat that one more time? It's got a charge.
Like when I was saying like in the beginning of the podcast with like how I had like a reverse like shock when I went to Quinnipiac because like everyone was like very groupthink but that group think was very Chad like.
Yeah.
Very Chad-like.
It's like a lot of the people I talked to didn't understand that perception of like everything getting paid for them was just like that's how life was, and it's like it didn't really wrap around their head that like some people
your life is what it is because of what you're accustomed to.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're not thinking about poor people or I'm not even gonna take it that far. You're not thinking about what your dad has to do to pay for that, what your mom has to do to pay for that, what X, Y, and Z
exactly.
goes
So
into
it's like
what you get, what you have.
Exactly. So it was kind of like a lot of the people that I was associating with was just, it was so confusing at first because like my whole life, the way I was brought up was like, you have to work hard for what you want. And like,
straight up,
my dad was like the type of person to, in sense, like he put his own like body on the line, like because like in his business, like if you own a bar or a nightclub, like you're dishing out drinks. If you're dishing out drinks,
and
everyone wants
present.
to work with the owner,
right.
or not work with the owner, drink with the owner.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like when you're in that cycle in your lifestyle, like it was very, very toxic. And so like, but in his mind, he was working really hard for his family. He was working to provide.
He's not worried about the clout. He's not worried about, I own a club, a bar, a strip club, this, that.
He like hated it because he knew it was destroying him as a person. He was an alcoholic technically because of that. I mean, you could obviously say that his actions are based upon what you want because like you could say, you could be the owner and not drink, but it's like everyone
you're in that
when
environment.
You're in a club and like the owner comes out and is dishing out shots to everyone. Everyone's having a fucking blast.
You have to do it to keep people involved, but then again, it's detrimental to your own personality and your own being. And
exactly. So my dad's thought process was he did this for his family so we can enjoy nice things. But like, so when I went to Quinnipiac and like I look poor compared to everyone there, and it's like I had a job at 16 like working at Moe's and stuff like that. So I got that like
love Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's.
You put me on a Moe's.
It was just kind of crazy because I was like, why don't people realize that blowing $200 on some like going out on a weekend is like no issue?
Senseless.
I'm just like, whoa.
For most people,
right? I was just like, what's going on here?
But then again, what's the flip side of that? If you got it, spend it, as Taylor would say. If you got it, flip it, as Taylor would say. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I think this is super.
No, but the thing also, you're absolutely right. But what he did was every time he had the money, he would just be investing it. So like, not only is he like a bigger hypocrite because he is spending that, but like
long-term investments. Mitigate risk. Make your future self happy.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. So let's just dive a little deeper in terms of like the perspectives and how you understand like what the world is around you.
So we started that because we were talking about people's perception as not understanding what it's like to worry about food and worry about shelter. I was saying that because when I went to Quinnipiac and relating it back, it was like an exaggerated level. Like I didn't even think about like the things that they didn't think about were like normal things that normal people think about. Like where I was on the level of like, oh, I understand some people really don't have food. Like some people really don't have shelter. So when I had that perspective and like they didn't even have a drop down, that's what I was saying when I felt like I didn't like fit in the conversations a lot of the time.
Do you know what I thought about? I thought about, especially going to college and seeing different people from like different socioeconomic backgrounds. It's like in Danbury, right? It's not the most affluent place, but we're still in Connecticut. We're still in Fairfield County. We're still in one of the top 5 richest counties in the nation.
Can I tell you right now, Ralph Lauren has his plane parked at Audi. So do famous celebrities. Derek Jeter's wife lived on Kendall.
Right here in Danbury, right?
Yes, he buys 5 of those Volkswagens a year. He's like, I'm just going to buy 5 of these, and he gives them out as like gifts to people.
That's wild.
That nigga pulling up through here. Like he's coming through Danbury, and like you have the top 1%, and then you have the bottom. Like you can go buy crack and a prostitute down the street.
This is what I'm saying. Right?
That's why I like it.
This is what I'm saying. So like,
I'm like, we live in a small city.
In Danbury though, even like this is the way I see it, or I've come to find out. Even those who like maybe on like the lower end of that socioeconomic totem pole, they're still much higher than those who are living in
Ready for the Girth
the
wisdom.
Midwest,
Yeah.
or the Appalachians. You know what I mean? Like you take the poorest person, say in Danbury, which is again in one of the top 5 richest counties in the nation. They're way ahead of someone who lives in Appalachia, who literally trying to eat every day,
Yeah.
or someone in a third world developing country.
it's because
I like
not only-
I like
again,
Danbury a lot
perspective.
though, because
Perspective.
Danbury does
Food
have
is
a
accessible.
very wide socioeconomic range.
Yeah.
Danbury.
That's what I'm saying.
It does.
But
It does.
it's all within the perspective though, because for us it's like, okay, yeah, there's this huge, like, you get super poor people, super wealthy people. When it comes to the perspective,
100%.
but if you take that poor person and you send them, say, to a rural place in Georgia, okay, they can get a house for $200,000.
Yeah.
That's not a house. That's a estate
Yeah.
down there.
That's
No,
a
and
life.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think I still think,
now-
regardless of perspective, though, the socioeconomic range is
it's
very
huge.
big.
Huge, and that's what I think we've benefited from that though.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Look where I can come from, Danbury, and grow up here, but I can go to a school like South Kent where there are multiple,
Completely different place.
where there is 240 students, 240, 250 students when I went there, and every single person is either recruited and they have bread because they're playing hockey, they're going to championships. You have every D1 athlete being handpicked from literally different countries, all going there. Think about those connects. All those people were brought together, and they're in Connecticut of all places. And you have these prep schools, which literally are the ones that colleges will take ED, like early admissions, and they're like, you know what, like, we're going to take this. Go to school and ask how many kids are prep schools. If you're going to private schools, even if you're going to like giant schools, like, there are mad preps kids around. It's insane. But those parents and those kids are so connected that you're having like
It's a different
ridiculous
realm.
scales,
Yeah.
and people are just buying houses close because they're like, oh, like, do you want to go to our house in at Candlewood, or do you want to go to our house at wherever? Because they're like, the
just so
parents
their
wanna
kids
spend-
have access to it
100%.
during that 4 years that they're there.
Bro, they're pulling up
You
with
know
like
what I mean?
Arizona plates. Yo, how'd you get your car here?
Yeah.
Oh, we
shipped it.
Shipped it.
Like, what do you mean?
Bro, I'm barely getting on the plane to ship my ass somewhere, but you're gonna ship a car that's like 20,000 to me? Like, please.
It's craziness, dude. I get looked at sideways when I told people I went to public school at
Oh.
Quinnipiac.
Isn't that wild?
I look at sideways, no joke.
The different thing for me
It's like
was
it's a
when
jungle.
I was going to school and I had
it's
people
not.
saying, "How did you get here?" And I'm like, "Oh, like, I'm struggling to get home to go to school because I didn't have a car when I went to St. Lawrence.
Right.
I
right.
just got a car.
Right,
So-
Taylor goes to, just so the audience knows, Taylor
Yeah.
goes to St. Lawrence
University,
University. It's on the border of Canada. So from Danbury, it's about, what, 4 hours?
No, like
it's like
6
6
and a
and
half.
a
6.5?
It's
oh, yeah,
6.5.
we took that ride.
Yeah, you took that wild. And yo, Jay
Do
was
the
in that-
Adirondack.
Yo, I have your glasses. I'm about to go get all my stuff. I'll bring them back.
Yeah, I definitely need those. I have in contacts right now, but I definitely
Yo,
need those.
the prescription. I put them in one time, and I was
Diesel!
like, "This kid is either blind, or like he's just broken.
Diesel!
He blind." But yo, when I would do that, I'd be like, "Yo, like, so and so, how'd you get here?" "Oh, I got on my dad's commercial jet," and I'm like, "Yo, are you kidding me?" They're like, "Yeah," and
But
they'd
isn't
be
that
bringing
crazy,
people home
though?
on the jet. So I'm like, wow. Me with my mind, like, can we go take pictures on the jet? Can we go fly somewhere on the jet? Like, what can we do on
See,
the
but
jet?
I'm saying, like, because you're looking at it like, oh, this is an experience I wouldn't have had unless I met these
100%,
people.
100%.
But they're looking at it like, oh, no, I'm just going home.
I'm like,
This isn't anything different. Like,
Like-
Taylor's flexing this, but, like, I'm just living.
Like,
So what's a flex to them?
but then let me tell you this: like, my uncle
Yeah.
owns a company, and they have 2 private jets, and he has in his own
God bless
name
him.
2019 Cadillacs, like big bodies, like they look like Suburbans. And I'm like, okay, every time you pull up, like, you're either in a jet or you're in that. So people assume this man has so much money, but no, people are renting out those things throughout the whole entire year. So they're basically paying themselves off with the payments as they come.
Exactly.
And then when it comes to gas, like, it's a whole different story. But they have done that, and they've owned, like, basically any car you can imagine that's, like, high class, whatever. I haven't seen any Bugattis or anything like that, but Ferraris, Lambos, like, he'll always pull up in something. But his company owns that. And I'm like, wow, this man has built up his social media. Like, he's actually fire. Like, that's who I want to be like, because not only can he live that lifestyle, but it's not even like he's pretending, because he's working with clients that do live that
perception
lifestyle.
that image is real.
100%. So when people want to go do business with him or want to do whatever, they're like, yo, how can I get in on this? That's only making his pockets bigger to the point where he can live that life, and he does live that life. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I really wanted to get a job with him, but I was like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. That's why when the Giuseppe thing came up today, I was like, wait, please let me get that shit, because that would be actually ridiculous. I would drip myself out in a fit. Oh my God.
Destroy the ego.
Don't destroy my ego, please. I think...
Not your ego.
I can't breathe in here.
That one's for the viewers.
Oh, yeah, no.
I can't breathe in
but
here.
Also,
his
like,
ego's so big.
When I look at it, like, I know I'm bipolar. So when I see that, I'm like, I know I'm living in a different world than everybody else is.
So let's
100%.
so let's talk about that. I want to get a little deeper with that.
Yo, hit it.
So when you talk about being bipolar and being in those situations that you're in, right? Mm-hmm. Ooh, how do you navigate social circles with being bipolar, being biracial, all these different things that
It's crazy.
I'm not gonna say that these are hard things, but these are things that you just live with.
Yes, and I'll say,
How do you navigate that?
I only realized I was bipolar not even maybe how long ago? Maybe not even 5 months.
Yeah, you called me on the phone like
5 months ago, maybe.
about a half year ago.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so 6 months. But I've been living that my whole life, and I always either lived in Connecticut, went to Florida. I always went to different schools. I got kicked out of a lot of schools when I was younger, but I always had to meet new people and adjust and adapt, and that was something that I learned how to do, whether it was talking to the old lady down the street, or it was talking to some kid that I didn't know, or just walking up to them and starting a conversation.
So what helps you cope?
And the things that help me cope are the people that I met that actually are meaningful in my life. So whenever I'm going through traumatic things and I'm feeling super low, I go to people like Jay, or I go to people like Dante, or people that I know that would always support me. And those are people that I've met along the way. And
That understand you, get
100%.
Listen, man,
where judgment isn't even taken into consideration, because they're even when I found out I was crazy, they were like,
whatever you call it.
We kind of already knew, you're just Taylor, though. So I would see that and I'd be like, wow, if there's no judgment, then how could I have any fear of doing with what anybody else thinks? Because I always know you have that home to go back to.
Right.
And
So how do you approach fear then?
Yo, fear isn't in the vocabulary. If I'm scared to do something, I'll just go to one of my boys. I'll be like, yo, I'm mad scared. They're like, yo, do it. What do you have to lose?
Fear is the number one enemy for opportunity.
100%, dude. And if you go for shit,
if you're fearing something, that's good. That means you're probably doing something right. So go grab it by the fucking balls and go fucking do it.
That's what it is.
That's really what it is.
Because even when you're doing it, if you're scared to go get a job right now, guess what? That is super scary. And if you can even get a job, that's so big. So you go to that every day. And when you're doing it, we were talking about this the other day, it doesn't seem like it's that hard, because you're in it and you're okay, well, now what else can I do? What other moves can I make? You always have to be thinking. And even you know that, because
absolutely,
this man was working for Louis Vuitton. Now he's out here doing the podcast. I always see him adapting to different situations differently. He can't go and work every single day. Now he's doing this. This is gonna blow up. It's always something else.
Because honestly, the way I take it is that word you said, adaptability, right? So I was raised by a single mom, a single black mom at that, right? So what she did is, my mom, and again, I'm gonna have my mom on this podcast, so you guys will get really, really deep with that. Yeah, it's gonna be super great.
That's fine.
But what she did is she had 2 kids, and she said, all right, listen, I've got to switch modes. Right, so she's a therapist. She got her master's. Wow. She's really cool, and she really changed the direction, literally the generational direction,
absolutely,
of her family, where she was going to. Where I think it's a game of plateaus, right?
And they don't want that to happen,
and they don't want that to happen. So it's a game of plateaus where, okay, she might have been raised at this socioeconomic level, but then her son can be raised at this, and her daughter can be raised at this. So then my kids can be raised at this, and blah, 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 blah. And it goes higher, but it's all about that adaptability to say, okay, the way I was raised, it was the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If I prepare properly, I can prevent a poor performance every time.
Yep. That's really what it is.
You can't take that away. And I always relate it back to things that are so integral to me, like sports, right? Track, basketball, football. If I prepare so hard and so damn diligently, you can't take that away from me. You can't take my effort away from me.
That's what it is, and that's what separates most people is the preparation that goes into before whatever they do, no matter what it is. Like, you go into a business negotiation. If you already did your homework, before you go into any negotiation, you already won that, like, whatever you wanted. Because, like, if you have something that you want to go into a negotiation with and you prepared properly, you know what your lowest point's going to be. You know what your highest point's going to be. You know what you're
worth.
You know what you're worth. You know what the person that you're negotiating is worth. You know what their intentions are. You know what your intentions are. You know everything that goes involved with this. If you go into that and you have nothing prepared, you are absolutely going to put yourself at a disadvantage. And it's like, you have to think about stuff as almost like war. Like, you want to be the winner when it comes to whatever it is you're trying to...
as simply as you can put it, you want to win.
Yeah, and it's like, so why would you disservice yourself by not preparing properly to anything that you want to succeed in?
But where did you see your work ethic really start to change? Because I feel like you've been working since you were 16. Even before that, you've always been regimented with your workouts, how much you put into yourself. Like, where did that come from? Like, as someone who literally, like, their dad wasn't home all the time, like, you were literally, like, with your mom, taking care of your brother, like, where does that maturity come from, and why did it strike you at such a young age? Because, like, there are people like me.
If you want to get real,
I do want to get real.
All right, let me just plug this real quick.
Real.
It's the IGR podcast. It gets real.
Wow. Where I think it stems from, legitimately, like, I think there's billions of causes that go into a person's life to make them who they are. Like, I think every small, even like a conversation you have, like, this is just an organic computer. Like, it processes everything.
Your own CPU.
What I think motivated me so much from, like, a young age to, like, just try and chase, like, this, like, perfection in whatever I desire to, like, be doing at the time, like, whether it's, like, vision. Like, I'm starting another company. I want to talk about that too.
Yeah, we'll get to it for sure. Dude, we got time.
Regardless, whatever it is.
We could be doing, like, 5 episodes right now. Like, we've got time, bro. It's quarantine.
I have to go fix my mom's TV. Like, I'm supposed to do that like an hour ago.
Dude, you can leave and come back. I'm pretty sure we'll still be right
Probably
here.
be here.
Okay, word. I'm definitely gonna have to go do that. But I want to hear this response.
I think with, like, my dad being, like, an alcoholic and, like, not really being around, and like, my mom had this very loose structure on the house. Like, you could tell she was, like, she never knew what was going to happen.
She was trying to hold it together.
She was trying her best to hold it together, but I could see, like, the fear. Like, I could feel it off of her. And I think from, like, a very young age, like, I saw, like, I had my brother, my mom, and then I didn't really see my dad. And I knew I could never, like, put that much of an impact on my mom because she's trying to keep the family as a whole.
Right.
So I think with my little brother, I went, all right, our dad's not around. My mom is having a really hard time holding this together. I need to be the example. Like, I need to be the example, not for me, like, for him at least. Because, like, I didn't get that example in the sense that, like, when I was growing up, like, I had a very hard time with the people around me because not only was it just my parents, but, like, a lot of people in my family died from drugs. So, like, I didn't have a lot of people to, like, look up to. So, like, what I tried creating within myself was to be the person I wanted to be for my brother.
Wow. And you're saying that stems from not having, like, a super present father figure.
Yeah, or, like, just
early on at least.
That and, like, not having anyone, like, within my family to, like, look up to. Because, like,
so you felt like you had to, like, create that on your own, like, really craft who you wanted to be as a man.
I wanted to become what I didn't have for my brother.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of things where I was like, wow, I wish someone could help me with this. Wow, I wish I could do that. Wow, I wish someone could show me this. And, like, no one was really around to do that.
So like, fuck, I'm going to go out and learn it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I'm just going to go do whatever the fuck I want, like, but I'm going to try and be the best at what I can be. And, like, with whatever that was. So my brother had someone to look up to show him that he could accomplish things that he wanted to accomplish. Wow. Because I was scared that if I didn't do it, that he wasn't going to turn out like that great because there's so many negative influences.
And in turn, and going back to that hope thing we talk about, right?
Yeah.
Dude, is that giving him hope that like, okay, 100%. If my brother did it, then I could do it. And if he did it at this level, why can't I take it to the next level?
Yeah.
At
and
least,
that's what I always
that's
tell him too. Is like,
do.
I'm like, you could be better than everything I do. That's what like I want for you. It's like, you're my little brother. Like I worked so hard, like through so much bullshit, like the first 18 years of my life.
Because if you did it with not much father figure and he had you to look up to, and then when your dad came back around, it's like, oh, dude, you've got the tools now. Yeah. So let's make this thing work.
Like he is the mitochondria of the house. Like if shit has to get moving, like stuff gets moving. Like he literally will be like, "Yo, we need to go to therapy. Like we need to do these things." I've seen a change throughout every single person in his family because of the way that he is. Like when he's not here, I'm actually like, wow, like I don't know who holds everything together because it's kind of crazy. And I feel like it's almost like that for me when I'm at home. But not only did he do that, but I see Damien like becoming the captain of his track team. I see him doing better in school. I see him making an effort, and it's something that like you can never predict what kids are going to do, and that's why you shouldn't treat them differently. You know what I mean? So depending on whoever they are, but like. I would see Damien. I'd be like, okay, he's gonna play video games his whole life. Like, I hope he makes. Like,
that's really what it was. That was a concern.
Really, I'm like, he's mad good at it. So, like, if anything, like, there's a future in that.
Whatever you do 150.
But I see him going out and like, not only does this dude balance a girlfriend, but he's out there doing sports. He's dealing with whatever he's dealing with at school. He's like, he handles a lot of different things, and I think that is only possible because he's been given that, like...
He had an example.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, all right. So, what do you guys think about having expectation in the household and how that sort of develops you and your character?
It fucks kids up, dude, especially when they're, like... I know my little brother's the middle child, and he feels like he's been robbed because, like...
Of attention.
Yes, because obviously, like, I came in first, so, like, I took a lot of resources, especially because the first kid, you're just trying to, like, do the best. Then you're like, wait, depending
you're
on
the guinea pig.
Yeah, whoever that got you determines where you're going to put the other ones. And,
absolutely. The Ken didn't work. I guess I'll go over here with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Public school for a couple years really didn't work. I'm going to go straight.
Yo, my parents were running a
boarding school for this guy.
Army.
And then your youngest sibling gets to the best.
Like, but he's going to graduate in 2.5 weeks and go into high school, which is crazy to me because this kid is so little. But he's going to be the first one that goes to Immaculate. So, like, that's a new story for him. So, like, now, like, I think it's, like, $13,000 a year. And, like, he wasn't doing his homework and stuff. And he was, like, kind of being difficult. And I was like, why would you waste $16,000? Do what you did with me and put me in, like, Danbury High School. I got honor roll while I was there. I was taking my AP courses. Like,
at the same time,
2, and I was like, oh,
it's education in Connecticut.
Like, exactly.
It's like, what are you talking about?
And I'm like, yo, I don't know why you wouldn't just do that and see where he stands and then go and put him in the school if he deserves to be there, if he wants to be there, and he's doing what he has to do. But my parents were like, Taylor, like, we are supposed to do what's best for our children no matter what. So, like, we should put him there because, like...
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you're kind of proving my point. Like, don't treat everybody differently. But I was like, you can't treat us all the same. So, like...
True.
You know what I mean? Like, one kid's going to do something else differently. Like, Kate is so smart. Christopher's in the 98th percentile for math and science. Like, for those little, like, Iowa tests and shit. Like, I was like, how do you score well in those? I was in, like, the 13th percent. Like, I was out there, like, making colors on my shit. Like...
Taylor just wanted to draw.
Dude, I literally...
Deadass, though.
I don't even want to say what I did for my SAT because, like,
I saw some people go to sleep.
I'm not trying to get in trouble, but, like...
It doesn't matter now, dude.
Does it not matter?
My SAT score was actually laughable.
No, but, like, can I get in trouble if I say something and they're like, oh, like, you have to take the SAT again? Because I don't want to. No. I got through it, right?
I mean, congratulations to Taylor. He actually just graduated college. So big ups to Taylor.
I got double major, guys.
Double major.
I honestly didn't think I was going to make it through.
Tell the audience what it is.
So I have a double major in business and sociology, and I almost got a minor in government, but I was like, what am I going to do with that? Like, I can always go back and get that. I don't think I am.
It's not your interest right now.
But I would just have to take 2 classes, which means 3 classes this summer seems like a lot, especially if I do have a job. So I'm going to take the 1. But no, I said it when I first
ended up graduating, and even throughout the way, I was like, if I get this degree, I'm getting everybody on my team rings because I did not do this by myself, and I'm not going to let anybody think I did because I pulled up to classes. People had me covered on multiple occasions. I had people that proofread my stuff because I'm actually like an illiterate monster. But like, I can't believe I made it, and the fact that I made it means anybody can. And I look up like I was an undiagnosed bipolar disaster.
Not
like,
even knowing,
barreling through,
not even knowing,
and just like barreling through, and like there were all these hurdles, and like I actually got accused of raping somebody from like the school, and the girl was like, "No, this didn't happen." But they were like, "No, you're hysterical. Like, you don't know what's going on." Like, and I was like,
"Oh, so you're saying that they wait? All right, so let's pause there and just can you sort of give a little background on St. Lawrence and what it is? And it's more of like a legacy international school, right?
St. Lawrence. When I first went there was a girl that was like Bush's like niece or something, and her name was I can't even remember. What her name
Bush,
was. Like the president. Like this school,
George W. Bush, right?
Yes,
Junior.
Like,
okay.
It is basically built up of like fraternities and sororities, and like I do like the sororities because they actually do go out, and like the fraternities, there's only 2, so it's not a big school, but it's like a big like. If you are somebody and your dad is an investor, like you're not getting in
super
trouble.
Like because me and Dante went up there. It's a super legacy school though.
Oh,
and international.
Like oh my god.
So audience, just to clarify that. The legacy school means your parents went there, your grandparents went there, and then also with the international aspect is it's a lot of well-endowed international kids who have money or, stuff like that. They went there too, so it's a lot of different backgrounds and perspectives that you get to meet with, and Taylor got the opportunity to go there because your mom went there, right?
No, my mom and dad met at Northeastern. I only went there because there was a kid from my school at South Kent that ended up going there, Austin Diltz. Shout out Austin Diltz, wherever you are, my dude.
That's great. Talk to him,
dude. I still do. Like, I'll send him like a snap. Like he was in Colorado for a bit, and then he came back. But he's a Pittsburgh guy, so he's not like near here. Yeah. But one of the craziest soccer players ever. Like this kid would cross you up, and then he would beat you up too.
Wait, what was his name?
Austin Diltz. Like he was a big boy. Yeah. But
Taylor played soccer though, just let everyone know.
I was predominantly soccer player. Yeah. And
really good at pickup too.
Yeah, that pickup.
We had some
not
good
as good
games.
as Tomas Jamet. Go peep that man. That's a name drop. Tomas Jamet. I can't spell because I'm dyslexic, but put it in Siri because you'll get some results. But
it's Googleable.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know what I was talking about, but the fact that we made it and that like we crossed the finish line is crazy because I did it. My dad didn't do it, and I was always like, I don't know why I didn't go back and just finish because I feel like now like that part of my life is at least complete and I can move on. And I would rather move on than procrastinate and like sit in my bed and never want to like move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. How you at? Do we have the same case, bro?
We do have the same case, as a matter of fact. Do you have the battery pack on the back? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the investment, right?
Yo, Hundo 30 for that too. Yo, if anyone needs a case, don't go to those bootleg like $10 ones. Go to Apple, get a $130 one. It's an investment for sure. But at the end of the day, if it craps the bed within an hour of using it, nah, I'm joking. Within a year of using it, then they'll replace it for free. Like it's just good news. It's always just good news, and they look sleek as fuck. And if you drop your phone, it's actually dumb protective because it's rubber, so that recoil is not a critical hit. You're sitting nice.
New iPhones are mad strong too.
Yo, new iPhone's got that. Oh wait, Jay, why don't I just request you and we can like split a screen and then we can.
Oh, bet. Let's do it. We're on live. We're going on Taylor Williams live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me see yours.
Go ahead, dog. Do your thing.
We gonna do it.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to what was it? Expectations in the household.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I feel like we didn't get into that, but I know I saw you kind of click into it. So
yeah. No, because it's very interesting. I feel.
Sorry, I'm requesting this.
I saw you kind of click into it. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Jordan Peterson, who is I think he's a psychologist. I hope he's a psychologist.
He's deep though.
He's a psychologist, right?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, he talks about it, but at what point, like, does setting up your kid for success put more of a burden on like the kid, and like puts this pressure to like complete and like creates this like obsessive thing? This is really bugging me out.
Yo,
I don't
turn
know
your
what's,
volume all
like,
the way down.
like I'm listening to myself talk, and I'm like trying really hard to go.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Cool. At what point does setting your kid up for like success like actually become like a burden and like just becomes like it's too much?
Okay,
like,
okay.
It's only thing like it's like if you don't become what your parents envisioned you to become, then I'm a failure.
I think that there's a difference, and it's crazy you said that. I was on a run the other day, right? I was on a run, and you run, you think deeply and everything like that. So I'm on a run, and I'm saying, what's the difference? And I didn't have an answer. What's the difference between expectation and pressure? Can you have expectation without pressure? And is there pressure without expectation? Like, what's the difference between the two and everything like that? And I was running for probably like an hour and a half, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I need to ask some people about this.
It's a really weird balance,
right? Because I can feel like you can have expectation without pressure, but you can't have pressure without expectation. Like in my household, I talked about like the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If I prepare properly, I will prevent a poor performance.
Yeah.
So there was expectation there. Like we expect you to give 150%. Like that's like not even. We just expect that, but there was no pressure. There was no, you have to get an A, you have to do this, you have to do that. So there was expectation without the pressure of if you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
right?
You know what I mean?
actually love that line, by the way. That's like one of my favorite movies.
Like, it's like, whoa.
And I think it also has to become like a balance of pressure. It's when does no pressure like not get you to where you want? Because think about it. If I'm like trying to become an amazing athlete and I have no pressure, I'm not gonna really get there. Like when you think about it, like people like Michael Jordan mindset that literally are like sickening, like actually that could be like legitimately a disorder, like how bad his obsession is to win. Like you have that. How could you ever be a top tier athlete then if you don't have pressure? You have to have pressure. It's just when is that pressure now like creating another
LeBron
burden in itself?
Yeah,
Michael
dude.
Jordan's
and
a
the
different
pressure
level,
also
though.
can destroy the
obviously.
athlete too. Like, imagine being.
But what's the cost of winning?
Think
Think about Michael Jordan. Did you watch
But
the
look,
documentary?
like,
What's the
even
cost
if
of
you
winning?
think about someone getting lucky, or like you play for Cleveland, your team's alright, but then you go and you get LeBron, and now your team's fucking booted up, like literally booted up, and you're getting rings. Like, guess what? You're not the best player on there, but you're getting the rings. You're getting the paycheck. So maybe he's not the best player on the team, but because he's winning, he's still benefiting from it. So you don't even got to be the best to benefit, and that's like the realest. Oh shit! Are we just doing one?
No, do both. Request me again.
I think you have to request me.
The way I look at it
Like,
is kind of like
Yeah.
I know what I want to achieve right now in my life, and like I know even if I don't get to the exact spot that I picture in my head, I know I will at least land somewhere close to that spot because I'm aiming for that goal. So like even if I don't exactly hit that goal, because I'm planning to hit that goal, I will end up at least somewhere like decent. But
is there pressure and expectation associated with that? Like,
Yes.
Because we go back to you personally and your dad not being there, and you said you wanted to like fulfill yourself, and you guys can also hear this on the first episode with Dante. He talks about him in his sophomore year of college and getting back and retuning himself. So like, how does pressure play into becoming that?
right. So I think pressure is good. I think putting pressure on yourself is good.
It creates coal or diamonds.
Exactly. I think like chasing like running from fear or like chasing fear or running from change and chasing change. Like change is inevitable. Change is going to happen. So like the person that doesn't like change is always going to be kind of sad his whole life.
He's
because
not
everything
adapting.
is,
He's
like,
not adaptable.
change.
You
Like,
have to.
Everything
It's
is changing
so
every
critical.
second. It doesn't stop. Like it will never ever stop. What I'm saying though is with like pressure and like expectation is you need the pressure. You need and you need to have your expectation. But you need to, because everyone is different, you need to understand for yourself when that pressure is becoming more of a burden than a help. Because
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Because
Go
it's
ahead,
like
go
pressure
ahead.
is needed if you want to achieve what you want to achieve.
Go ahead,
but
Taylor.
once it becomes detrimental to your like mental health, now you can't even reach that goal. No matter how much more pressure you put on, and everyone has a different balance.
Because you're so
Everyone just needs
bogged
to find
down
their
with
own.
being where you need to be.
I ended up taking maybe 5 or 6 psychology classes. And because I took those classes, I was like, okay, I want to know more about myself, because I was like, okay, I'm bipolar, like maybe I should learn about this.
How
or at
do
least
I
become
tick?
more
Yeah.
So I was going through it, and there was this class I took, and it was called positive psychology, and it was the fact that because everyone in psychology is focused on the negative things, the things that drive you crazy, the things that
Pick out what's wrong.
Exactly. And
Analytical
even
brains.
how people operate on a regular level, and how we look at the negatives and we weigh them so much larger than the positives. And that's because these things are like, wow, this hurts me. This goes against the way that I feel and the way that I think, and it hurts. So it's much easier to acknowledge than the things that are good. And in those things, it says that basically if you're not changing and you're wanting one mission, and that's your goal, and you're trying to get it and you're not, you will actually, trying to chase becoming happy, you'll become depressed doing so, because you're not getting
achieving.
those things 100%.
Oh, wow.
So now if you can keep your mind open, like Dante said, and you set a goal, okay, well, you didn't hit that goal. Maybe you didn't go to the Olympics, but maybe you broke some records somewhere else, and you still need to look at those as accomplishments. No, even if you didn't get there, because maybe if you didn't have that overall view, you would have never even shot
If
somewhere
you reach
close
for the moon,
to
you'll
some-
hit the stars.
Exactly. That's
and it's
exactly
that-
what it
it's
is.
that
You
view.
train to be an Olympian, and you end up getting your college paid for as a D1 athlete.
You did
succeeded.
something.
You succeeded in some way or another, whether that was your goal or not your goal.
Let me say right now, I ended up going. I loved soccer so much.
Shout out
but I
Matt
never-
Millard.
I ended up never actually knowing how to play soccer. Like, I didn't get to learn all the professional athletes. I didn't know the plays.
figure this
Like,
shit out.
They'd be like, go to the 18-yard box or something. I'd be like, where the fuck is that? And I'm in college, and I don't know where that is.
Wait. So you played soccer in college,
Bro,
and you
no
didn't
idea.
know where the 18-yard
The
box
thing was, I was actually a freak athlete where, like, I could go run and chase someone down. Like, I kicked someone's tooth out their mouth one time. Like, I was out there
Wow.
sacrificing for the game. I
Well, the
broke
genetics, though. Your dad played,
Yo.
NFL.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I
And
broke
your
my
mom
nose.
had you running.
Yo, I was
that
running
cannot
every
be
day.
forgotten.
I was
Your
every day.
mom had you running?
I'll
Talk
never
about
forget
that.
the story. I was literally at his house, and his mom was telling me a story about how she told him when he was a little kid, if he wasn't running around on that field, she was gonna stop showing up to the
Like, I ain't
games.
coming. I wasted my
So
time.
think about that as a kid. You're gonna run your
Mom
ass
said,
off.
if you're not running, I'm not going to show up to the
She
games.
wasn't gonna waste her time, dude, because she was like
Pressure.
You started killing
Pressure,
it, and that's
pressure.
she was like,
And,
you
yeah, that
couldn't
was
Not
say it.
expectation, pressure.
And I was like, wait. And she'd be like so upset with me, and she'd be like, I wasted my time. And she doesn't go do sports. She's not a sports lady. Like, she went to the NFL games because you got the little box seats, whatever.
Because you were
hanging
comfortable
out.
and your man
She
was
like, "Word."
performing. Okay.
She was like, Taylor, you were the only one like that I really loved to go and watch, because you would go out there when I would come, and I'd be like, score a goal, and you would go out and score a goal.
And that's your mom.
And I would be like, yo, I'm out here. Like,
That's
parents
your
would be
mom.
like, get that kid out of here. He's an animal. And I'd be like, I'm doing it for my mama. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, your kid is on the field. Like, he about to get bopped. But,
I'm sorry if you're on the field with Taylor Williams. It's
Yo.
honestly a danger.
Yeah.
same
let me
thing
just-
with
let me
track,
just
though,
tune
'cause, like, if she
into
was
our
coming,
Instagram.
like, I had to run, bro. So, like, every time she came, I would PR. It'd be dead ass. Like,
You remember this
I
man
never ran. Like, I didn't
fucking-
do that shit.
First year
couldn't do
track.
it.
First year
That's
track
crazy.
shows up to nationals, and he
Bro.
eats a hot dog before his 800.
I ate a pretzel, a Mountain Dew, and a Red Bull, and I ended up breaking 2 in the 800 or something.
He
Or-
ran 158.
Yo, I was booling,
First,
bro. I was like,
first year,
bro, I had
what?
food in
That's
me.
wild.
And I didn't throw up or anything.
Imagine. So then,
You
all right.
you run for 4 years straight, and your end of your senior year you break 2. You're a happy person. This man shows
You're
up.
like,
and goes,
you're
I'm
like,
gonna
I
run under
got
2.
somewhere.
My sophomore
So-
year, like, that's stupid. Like,
So
that's
what if
actually
you
stupid.
started?
behavior.
All right, so let's sort of transition into track, the mindset, Rob Murray.
Ooh.
What impact did that have on you?
Yo, the visualizing that man did, I've never seen a coach ever do that.
Do
Where
you-
you sit in a dark room and you visualize where
Do
you're
you
gonna be.
remember when he had us in the dark room and he brought us through these meditation exercises?
Bro, I thought
He said visualize yourself
I thought
running.
it was all bullshit. I thought it was all bullshit. And now I'm meditating all the time now, and I'm straight up like, this man had the fucking key. Like, he was literally creating positive
He was teaching us,
visualization
and we didn't
while
believe
you were
him.
meditating.
I didn't believe him.
And I was like, what is this clown even doing with me right now?
Bro,
6 years later, I'm like, this man had a fucking key that I thought was a joke.
But bro, I'd be running and I'd be visualizing what I was visualizing while I was in that room, and I would be like pushing, and I'd be like, "You're not tired." Like, wow,
It keeps knocking me off.
we got like over 200 views on that.
It keeps knocking me off.
It canceled it.
Why?
We're too popular.
Why did it stop it?
Real talk.
Real talk.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It just knocked us off, guys, but we're still going. Taylor's gonna get his live back up. But what were we talking about?
Positive visualization.
Yeah. We were talking about Rob Murray in track, dude. We were talking about Rob Murray in track one time, especially. I think we were going to. It was some high level meet. It might have been. It was before States. We were going to States. Everyone was going to run at States. I don't think I ran. I think some other people didn't run, but we went anyways. But no, actually, I think there was some running that some people did. But he had us sit in a dark room. Right, he had us sit in a dark room, and he had us visualize us winning. He said, it doesn't matter if you're running, if you're not running, whatever you're doing. He said, what you see yourself doing is what you will accomplish. But it was all based on the foundation, the principles that he laid out day in and day out. Yep. And what I try to explain, especially to my friends in college, it was like, dude, we were running in a cold hallway on New Year's.
We weren't running. we were participating in a cult, legitimately. Like, when you think about, like, the
Don't call it. I don't think it was a cult. I love that man.
It was.
Whoa.
Bro,
hey.
But is a cult bad? But is a cult bad?
That's exactly what it is.
No, it's
cult has a negative connotation to it.
It's not, though.
Cult has a negative connotation to it. What he had was a good cult. It had created a lot of positivity.
It was benefiting
Okay,
everybody. He was
okay.
stopping like priority, like key assets of children that literally had nothing else to do because they weren't participating in school. Either they were or they weren't. And they were going and they're doing something productive. Whether or not it got them a scholarship, it got them in better shape, or it kept them mentally
But you
well.
were focused on one thing every day. We were counting
That sounds like a cult.
calories. Well, maybe not Taylor, but
know
most
what-
people.
I don't know what that
but
is.
most people
I
who
know
have
what
slow
that is.
metabolisms, they were focusing every single day on how do I get better to run around a motherfucking circle.
No, but I will say he treated people differently, I feel like.
Yeah.
Of course.
And that also dictated how
That's
people
leadership.
performed. Because
That's leadership.
I knew I wasn't getting in trouble for stuff, but I also knew if I didn't go out there and run my best, like, he would treat me like an outdog. And
But
I didn't
think
want
about like
that.
this though. He said, "Okay, listen. I know Taylor is gonna fuck off, right? I know he's gonna fuck off, but he's gonna come through and perform. But there's guys like Matt Andrews where I need to tell him he's the best. I need to get in his ass. I need to praise him, but I need to break him down.
Do you
But
remember
he's gonna
CJ
perform
White?
knowing.
Shout out to CJ White.
Shout out to CJ White. CJ White used to show up
he
in
never showed up and then
Jordan
just
11s. My
came-
freshman year.
came to the
He
meet.
showed up in
Okay.
Jordan 11s, right? And broke records, bro.
Literally, like,
Sprinting.
I remember Rob talking to him about never showing up to practice. He's like, I don't care. And he was like, he still
didn't-
made points.
It was CJ White. It was like Elijah Duffy and a couple other guys. These dudes were so athletically gifted. They'd show up and they'd fucking perform. But
Yeah.
Rob didn't say anything. But then in my mind, I'm like, all right, he'd get on this little scrawny white kid.
Oh my
for
God.
not
Dude.
for not doing ab workouts. Like, what are we talking about?
I saw him.
But it's how you approach leadership.
ruin a person because they were a few minutes late to practice.
With sunglasses on.
And I was just like, this poor child right
I
here.
love,
Like,
dude,
I think
I
that's
look
not
up
me.
to him. I've had two coaches in my life that I have. One of them I didn't even like until I was like, holy crap, this coach Owen Finberg literally like was always on my ass. But he was on my ass because he knew that I was better than I was and that I wasn't
Finberg,
trying.
we're at.
At South Kent, he gets coach of the year
Okay,
every
South
year.
Kent
He
was his high school.
just got
His
it.
private high school.
Like, I'm gonna tell you, this guy is like, I used to be like, he's just a Jesus-y guy. Like, he doesn't really care. Like, I don't know if he believes it or not. Bro, he believes it 100%. He would go out there. We'd be helping the community, doing extra shit, like, as a team, though. And it was a cult. Like, even, like, for South Kent, that soccer team, like, you knew that hockey was the
But
big
what's a
boy.
cult, though?
A cult is people that come together for a good or even
What
a bad.
they interpret as good, okay.
But they're all working with the same thing in mind. So
Okay.
for the team, it wasn't even to win, but it was to destroy the people that you were playing with while also trying to go to college and play professionally and build yourself. And he would do that whether you were playing on the prep team or you were playing on his like varsity premier team or whatever you were playing on. Like he was making players better, and he was doing it like if you were late, yo, get the fuck out of here, like you're done. Like he'd be so hard on you. But then he'd turn this side, and you'd be like, wow, I'm getting so much better, and it's because he's actually on me. And with Rob, like, look, yes, did I go to AMP? Did I go and get a soda? Did I get some donuts? Did you catch me at McDonald's one time?
Taylor
ordering a
got
small
caught
fry?
at McDonald's, bro. He
Ordering
was
a
part of the
small
hacky
fry.
sack, the hacky sack gang.
Meanwhile, we're bleeding in the hallway.
Shout
Bust
out
your
Terrell
ass.
Cunningham.
But, like, at the end of the day, the boy went there, like, I still have records there. So...
True that.
Do you think
something
Rob
had to
did
go
you a
right.
disservice by not putting like his foot down on you?
By not applying pressure?
He knew that it wasn't my main sport, and if I wanted to drop it, I could drop it because like my stepdad went and talked to him. He was like, "Look, like soccer's the priority. Like that's what he's going to
It
get
was
a
really just
scholarship for."
conditioning.
He's like, "I want him to do this because his friends are doing it. He like it's really good for him. He's fast, so like we can channel like some of whatever leftovers in there." And he was like, "Okay, word, we'll find a place for him." I ended up doing this test, and I was wiping people like when you like try to get on.
I remember when you showed up to the first like
in Jordans, bro. I ran in Jordans.
I literally was like,
I was like, what am I
I was
doing?
like, what is this man doing? And I saw you cooking everyone, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right,
I was like,
bro?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
It was craziness because I was like, I
Sometimes-
didn't know this man was this fast.
Sometimes I think it's like wasted potential because like what could I have done with that? But then I'm like, I never want to have kids, but I want to have kids so that I can parent them right, so I could see what they could do. Because like I knew I wasted mine, but did I really waste it? Because I used it for an education, and I never like really wanted to play soccer. But I was like, you know what? Like if it gets me into college and I don't have to pay that much, I'm gonna fucking do that. I got to not play soccer, keep my scholarship, and like. I had the best 4 years ever to the point where I can't even remember them because like I don't even know what happened. Like the only reason I remember what's going on is because I have year anniversaries and they'd be showing me what I did on that day, and I'm like, oh my god,
Oh my god,
I don't even
those are so
remember
true.
that.
Those are so funny.
You know what I'm saying?
You
I'm
look
like-
back and you're like, oh, that was 3 years ago. Oh my
yo,
God.
people I love. Shout out to anybody who sends me like stuff of me acting up or whatever from stuff that I've just never seen because I like seeing that shit. I'm like, wow, that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
But I gotta go fix my mom's TV on God. It's been so long.
she's gonna be so mad at you. She
I
called you
know.
at like 8 o'clock.
I know.
We've been ripping up this podcast. Like Jay was over here at like 7 o'clock. We on hour 3.
Oh my god.
I had to pee. You guys are seeing behind the scenes. Wow.
Taylor's about to log off.
It's about to log off.
Yo,
All right.
for everyone
I have to go fix
listening,
my mom's
for everyone listening right now,
TV, but I'm not gonna come back.
if you're into meditation, look up Wim Hof.
Bro.
Do yourself a service.
Bro,
I love this, by the way. Where did you get this?
I mean, Best Buy, bro. Like 2 years ago.
This?
This Apple.
Yeah.
That's a mad nice
The
case.
leather?
I really like this.
It's so simple yet so like
I just bought
It's
the
done
keyboard.
properly.
For the iPad?
Yes, it's like a computer keyboard.
Guys.
And it has like the computer, it has this on it.
Oh,
So
the
you can, like,
trackpad.
treat it
Yeah.
like a fucking computer, bro. And I'm so excited to do vision shit on there.
Bro, I'm so
And then I
excited.
was like, I asked this kid, he was like, I can get you whatever you need. I was like, can you get me AirPod Pros with my name on them? And he was like, yeah, like what name do you want? And I was like, Girth. And I just put in Girth in all caps.
Oh, wait. Real quick, before you go, can you talk
If you
about
guys
your
know
girth?
something.
Wait. Before you go, can you talk about your Girthquake page real quick?
Yo, all right. So basically, I was like, I want to do something because St. Lawrence, like, you never really want to feel like you leave there. And I was like, okay, I have this account, and I just post me and all my friends just completely bowling. And I had been doing it since like maybe freshman year. And I've just been kind of slowly growing like a fan base, consumer base. And I have like almost 3,000 followers, maybe like it always changes because I always unfollow people that I don't think should be on there, and it always fluctuates. But it's basically just a conglomeration of all my friends just having a good time and like living carefree. And we're gonna I wanted to shut it down because I was like, I don't think I should be like promoting this if I'm going and doing my stuff. But instead, since the year's over and I ended up getting a job before I go or getting an opportunity to get a job or something like that, I don't even know. But I'm gonna just delete all the videos of me and keep everyone else up and basically sell merchandise on the stuff and kind of keep that St. Lawrence cult alive.
Shout out Girthquake.
So shout out Girthquake Chronicles.
Girthquake Chronicles on Instagram.
Yeah, dude. Like it's just mad ridiculous, and you're like, wait, this
insane,
is where,
dude.
Like the smartest people in the world I've recorded on there just doing some stupid shenanigans, and I'm like, how can you? And you know what you did? I want to touch back on when you were like, you need to like prepare to do well.
Yeah.
Because I know a few people that don't give a shit and they just pull up and they do well. And those people bother me so much.
Those are some people like that.
Yeah, like literally don't have to study for a test that I'd study for, and like I wouldn't even get half the grade they're getting when they just pull up.
And then think about it though, but think about if they prepared.
No, but they're doing fine. Like they're getting 90s though. Like
Yeah.
like those people are doing well.
But think about if they prepared.
I mean,
what would they accomplish?
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
There's always going to be so people that are going to fly by.
But these
doing
people
any
would party
preparation.
harder than I would, though, is the thing. And then they'd pull up and they'd be like, yo, I'm Dean's List. And I'm like, what? I was like, what is your major? And they'd be like, computer science and like bridge to higher math or some bullshit. I'm like, yo, I drowned on that bridge, my nigga. Like, I'll be back.
Okay, so we're gonna stop that there. I'm gonna continue with Dante. Taylor steps away for a quick second, and I do a little segment with Dante where I rattle some stuff off. Taylor will enter. I'm gonna continue with Dante a little bit. Dante, I just want to rattle off some stuff with you.
Let's do it.
All right, so these are some quick hitters. All right, so give me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say this. Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Are you ready?
I am very ready.
Okay. Religion.
Good.
Black.
Great.
White.
Good.
Trump.
Good.
Your mother.
Great.
Girls.
Hot.
Love.
Beautiful.
Future.
Interesting.
The universe.
Big.
Life after death.
Potential.
Is there a God?
Yes.
What does success look like to you?
A big smile.
Okay, let's pause there. Okay. Oh,
I'm not
Taylor's
gonna
back.
lie. When you said black, I was like, "Is he fucking with me right now?" I was like, "Where's this going?"
I know. I know.
My mom fixed it.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, she fixed it. All right, so Taylor's back. I mean, this is great. So I want to go off of. Give me a word that describes you.
That describes me.
Yeah.
I would say optimistic.
Optimistic? Okay. Why? Well, why? Well, we know from the first conversations that you sort of retooled yourself. You got back into who you were through meditation, physical, jiu-jitsu, all that. So, why though? Like, dig a little deeper on that.
Why I chose like optimistic as the word to describe me?
Yeah.
I just feel like, especially in our culture right now, there's a lot of negativity. Like, and there's just a lot of people that want to see negativity from other people and they get joy from it. And then there's also the people that don't know how to find positivity. And it's very habitual to be in either a positive or negative mindset. Like, whatever mindset you're in, it's habit forming. If you're a very positive person, it's a habit form. If you're a negative person, it's a habit. I say I'm optimistic just because of the way I feel like I've already dealt with a lot of stupid shit in my life. In my perspective, I look at a lot of things, I'm like, yeah, that sucked. I don't know how to deal with it. And right now, when I look at like my life and like my future, I feel like from all the the things I had to deal with in my past, nothing can be that negative. Like, when I think about, like, things I have to worry about right now, it's kind of like inevitable things. Like, the thing that bothers me the most is, like, thinking about my parents dying. Like,
okay. So with that, are you holding on to something that you need to let go of, do you think? Like, in terms of being fearful or...
No. I think I did.
Is there anything that you hold on to that you're like, okay, like, you know, like when you think down deep inside and you're laying in bed and you're like, I really need to let that shit go. Like there's some stuff for me that's like past relationships or you know, maybe some insecurities. I'm like, all right, I need to let that go so I could be 100% of myself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's always like things that kind of come back from my past where I'm just like, I don't like that. Like, but I feel like I've reached the point where it doesn't negatively affect me anymore. Like, I kind of register it. Like, if a thought pops up or if I'm laying in bed and, like, something shitty enters my mind, I, like, register it. But at the same time, I'm not, like, dwelling over it anymore. I'm just like, I feel like I'm proud of who I am right now. And maybe if I didn't have that negative experience, I wouldn't be the person I'm proud to be right now.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like, that might have sucked.
So everything connects.
Yeah, it's kind of like that might have sucked or that might have been good.
So
like,
everything connects, and through your meditation, through your growing, through your yoga, through your everything, you're saying everything connects into being optimistic.
Yeah, because it's kind of like I've already seen so much shit that was so negative where it was like...
It can't get any worse than this.
No, it absolutely can. It can get worse than this. I can get cancer. There could be terrible things coming for my future.
But enjoy what you're having now?
I feel like right now, everything's cool. If I just portray that into, like, my being, like, things will be as cool as I let them be cool. Like, shit is gonna happen. Like, it's, like, my mom's tumor, like, last year. Like, that shit just popped out of nowhere. Like, and it's like...
So with your mom's tumor, I remember we were chilling in the car one day. I don't know, you remember this? We're at Westlake, and you lit up the bowl. You were smoking, and you really got deep, and I mean, you really dove deep into your change of perspective on God and what is out there. Because before, let me just give you the audience a little recap. Because before, you were saying, I don't think God is real. You know, and you're sort of like an atheist track.
Yeah.
But after your, I believe it was your DMT trip or mushrooms or something like that, and then coupled with your mom's tumor, you said, oh no, I know there has to be a higher power because one, it saved her, two, it connected with me, and then, you know, you really sort of changed your disposition on that. So can you like kind of expound on that?
Yeah. Not to just disregard what you just said.
Yeah.
But I would say I was either agnostic or atheist from the time, like, I never really went to church a lot growing up as a kid, even though I grew up in, like, what could be considered a Christian or Catholic household. So about, like, I think 6th grade it was, I was like, I don't believe in God. Like, I just don't think he exists. Like, this is just what it is. Like,
why not? Oh, wait, so this was 6th grade. This was before everything really happened to you.
Yeah,
you're just a kid, and you're like, I really don't see the value in any of that.
Yeah, I was just like, this is what it is. Like, there's no heaven, hell. There's no this. There's no that. Like, this is just Earth. Like, and I'm here, and then I'm not gonna be here.
I felt that when they were like, you gotta buy your way in. I don't like that. Like, buy your way in.
Oh, way back.
Buy your way in.
Okay.
Like,
when they were selling. When they were selling access to heaven way back in the day.
You gotta buy your way in, even when they.
It's definitely kind of a jump, though.
Yeah, hold on. Let me finish what I was saying though.
Go ahead,
so,
Dante.
I was very like agnostic or atheist, I would say, all the way until about sophomore year of college, and I just remember like I wasn't smoking, I wasn't like taking any psychedelics, and I was just. I was doing a lot of walks in nature. I was running a lot in nature. I was walking a lot in nature. And the way I was seeing, like, how everything is so important to something else in, like, the ecosystem sense, like, from what we can see outside, from, like, the trees, like, down to, like, the soil and, like, things eat up and...
Everything connects.
Everything connects. Like, that was a really bad way of explaining it, but, like, everything connects. And then, like... we can't even like fathom the things that are connecting outside of our like atmosphere. Like think about the things that are connecting that are going on out there that we have no clue, because it's probably the same thing as we see with like trees and clouds and rain and all that stuff. It's all connecting somehow.
That's why I think God is math. But so
Wait, okay. But I want you to qualify that statement when you say God is math. Math in what way? Is this based off you taking like mushrooms or like
No.
math in terms of how it adds up, like arithmetic, like like natural arithmetic? Like what do you mean?
like everything,
God is
just
math. Like 1 plus
physics.
C?
Like
Physics? Okay.
it's just like if I throw that lighter, like you can calculate based off like the amount of force I'm putting into throwing that lighter, and then the gravitational pull, and then like how fast the Earth is spinning. Like if you can calculate everything before I even throw that lighter, you know exactly where you can put it. Like, and you could do that about anything. Like if I punched you in the face, like you could see like how much damage I can do based off of like how much force I'm putting into it, how much your bone structure can like withstand.
So
like,
through the lens of science, if it doesn't add up, it's not real.
exactly. There's
So, that's how you look at God?
I think that there's just an answer for everything, even if we don't understand it. I think we have an issue right now as humans because we are very advanced that we think we know everything when we really still don't know shit. Like I think there's so many things that we kind of know, but don't truly know.
Miracles,
Huh?
So like stuff that just can't be explained.
But I think miracles are just like, to me, like odds. Like
So,
somebody's
wait,
gonna hit the
pause.
lottery.
So you're saying that miracle is odds. So like 1 out of 100% chance that you're gonna recover from this cancer or trauma or tumor. Like there was no extraterrestrial force or like God that just had some sort of supernatural effect that you can't even
But the
explain.
thing is, they say that believing in a God makes you have that mindset that you
Yes.
are going to get better and you're being
Yes.
more positive and you're doing things that are.
So your
beneficial
odds
to
are
your
better.
well-being. Yeah.
So your odds are better. That's what I'm
But you can
saying.
Also, well, bring up that guy you were talking about.
What's his name?
That can that he does those things.
What's his name?
Wim Hof.
WIN?
WIM space HOF. If anyone's listening right now, to go look up Wim Hof. That dude is actually like the second coming. Like he's not real.
So okay, so on Wim Hof it says the Wim Hof method.
Yeah, that's the type of meditation I do.
WimHofMethod.com. This is the type of meditation that Dante gets into. If you go to his website and you click on the method and about the Iceman, it says, I'm just going to give you guys a little paragraph about him. It says, Wim Hof got his nickname the Iceman by breaking a number of records related to cold exposure. His feats including climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in shorts, running a half marathon above the Arctic Circle on his bare feet, and standing in a container well covered with ice cubes for more than 122 minutes. Having embraced the majestic force of nature, Wim resolved to share his discovery with the rest of the world. He is convinced that everyone can tap into the potential without having to invest the same decade's worth of study, traveling and daring. And so he developed the Wim Hof method, a natural path to an optimal state of body and mind. So
Yeah.
you're saying, Dante, that this is what you follow. You follow the Wim Hof method,
Yeah.
the method of a natural path to an optimal state of body and mind.
And it
Yeah.
works. Like, I'm going to tell you, we go on runs.
Here, come.
Like, we
Okay,
go on
wow.
runs. And the thing is, my body's never ready to go on, like, an 8-mile run or anything.
Dude, you'll never be ready to go on an 8-mile run.
Well, my body be getting ready. It's just like the thing.
It's all up here, dude.
And when I start feeling it, I'm like, breathe so deep. And I was like, do what Dante said, like, basically, like, oxygenate your brain so much, just take in so much, and then, like, relax, calm down, and, like, focus on where you want it to go. I was able to finish my run, and I, like, didn't die the next day, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just breathe
And this
like,
is
pattern it in my brain.
And this is opposed to just waking up and just going for a run.
I just
blah,
go for
blah,
the
blah,
run.
blah.
But I like sat in the shower and I was like, I'm gonna go on a run today. And I visualized the run and I was like, where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna feel when I get there? And I prepared for it. So when you were saying that prepare and
Proper
all your
preparation prevents poor performance. 5 P's.
exactly. That's like one of the, like it was preparing for something that I knew was gonna be kind of hard, but because I visualized it, I took it strategic and I was able to complete it. And I was like, oh my God, like does that really mean that I'm my biggest enemy? Because if I really want to succeed, I can push myself these extra like whatevers. And I'm like, holy crap, am I like
in charge.
did
like,
I-
do I have that?
Did I feed that off to you?
Yes, bro, and that's why I've been thinking about shit differently, bro. Like, I really have. It's
I'm so
amazing.
happy. I'm so happy. No, dude, this guy.
The Wim Hof method.
You want to win? You want to win in life?
WIMHOF.
Look this guy up. No joke. He started this method because his wife committed suicide, and she left him with like 4 kids, and he was like, I need to figure out a way where I can't let this happen. So like my kids, like I can't let them go on life without knowing like how to like create a better life for themselves. And he felt that there was natural ways to get chemicals flowing in our brain that we don't really use anymore because we're living in such a comfortable lifestyle. This man, so people thought he was just what's it called? Like,
What?
So
Insane.
let me just give you the
They thought
wiki
he-
about him, though, real quick.
Hold on.
Real quick.
Okay.
It says Wim Hof, born April 20th, 1959, also known as the Iceman, is a Dutch extreme athlete noted for his ability to withstand freezing temperatures. He has set Guinness Book of World Records, blah, 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 blah. It talks about his records. The Wim Hof method, as we talked about a little bit before, markets a regimen. The Wim Hof method, WHM, created alongside his son Enhem Hof. The method involves 3 pillars: cold therapy, breathing, and meditation. This is a lot of what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
The cold breathing, the meditation, and the cold breathing, the cold therapy, the breathing, and the meditation. And you're saying that's what propels the mindset of basically let me just go and do it.
Yeah, it's
Of
like when I do
overpowering.
this, nothing bothers me. It's like in the sense of like,
Okay.
like anything
Wow.
I think that I have a problem with, like, oh, I need to do this, and it today, and I'm like, oh my god, like I got all this stuff done. I'll do my meditation. I'll be like, all right, let's just bang it out. And it's like nothing can bother me. Oh, this person's trying to stress me out right now. It's like, okay, I can just breathe through it. And it's like I just put myself back in check like that. Like something like normally, like when I hear like stupid shit, my blood starts boiling. Like I can't stand hearing people like talk ignorant stuff. Like it actually geeks me out. But it's
so true.
Okay.
But breathing
Wow.
through it literally snaps me right back, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like I'm cool. And this dude, they thought he was like he had like a genetic mutation that made him so like incredible about doing these things.
Talking
Like,
about the people that he helped with the
yeah, because he ran a whole marathon in like one of the hottest deserts without any water. Like he's doing like on human things that people don't think is possible. And they were like, okay, well you probably just have a genetic mutation. And so he took 12 people and he taught them like his method. And he goes, well, I'm gonna get them to hike Mount Everest. And the scientist was like, don't do it, because he grabbed it. I think.
He did it
Don't
in
quote me
shorts.
on this. Don't
He
quote
did
me
it
on
in
this.
shorts.
I think it's 20 to like 70. A group of people from 20 years old to 70 years old. You can look exactly up the age
Okay,
group.
yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to get them all to hike Mount Everest. And scientists were like, don't do this. You're going to kill these people. And he's like, I'm going to get them to do it using my method.
Well, because that's what it talks about, the science investigations. Even if you just go straight to the wiki, guys, it says the resistance to cold, immune system suppression, like there's some science behind this
Yeah.
stuff.
No, he tested, like, all of his stuff, he gets tested now for, because he wants to bring this to, like, the science field. I could see Big Pharma, like, popping this man, because it's real talk.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
everything
He's
that
got
he
books
does, it's
too,
for, like,
guys. He's got books. Yeah.
yeah, but so he took these people up to Mount Everest, and he goes, I'm going to get them to do it in 3 days, actually. And they're like, you're fucking nuts. You're actually going to kill them all. He got all the people that use his method to the top of Mount Everest in 2 days.
No way.
Yeah. Easily.
Based off of his method, you're
Yeah.
saying?
I don't know how long he trained them, but it couldn't have been that long. Like I know it wasn't multiple years.
Wow. That's a while. Again, guys, that's the Wim Hof method. He just dropped another bomb. Wow. I
One
really
more
like
comment
that.
on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
They injected this man with E. coli, and he meditated his body to kill it. He just
What?
He told his immune system to take out its third level of defense, pulling shit out of its bone marrow to attack the E. coli and neutralize it.
All based off his method.
Yep, and they got other people to do it. Everyone got infected with E. coli, and then he got other people using his method to go get tested and doing it, and they killed the E. coli as well. The shit is actually like he's like, I want to do this for people with anxiety. I want to do this for people with depression. I want to like. He goes, this is all coming back to like things that we don't naturally like stimulate our brain in the ways that we evolutionize to.
Yummy. Wow. Okay, so switching gears a little bit, and I really want to just get into a little bit of, I won't say lighter stuff, but I mean, as we're sort of coming to the end of this, we've been going for a while, but we could keep going. I mean, I'm just gonna chop this up. Like we're going good.
I got a lot more to say.
Yeah, I know. Is there anything you want to talk about? I just have a quick question. If you allow me to.
Yeah, please.
It says, what would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you? This could be over the course of your life, right now. But what would you do differently if you knew no one would judge you? Taylor, you could also chime in on this too if you want. But then again, Taylor probably just does everything the way he always does it. So, I mean, Dante's thinking deep on that one.
I am.
Wait, so that's why it's pretty silent. All right, so the question is, what would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you?
I honestly do everything I want to do, and I don't care what other people think, because I know that in this world, people will judge you no matter what you do.
Boom, bitch.
There will always be people that are behind you to support me, and I think that goes a lot to my story before. Like, even for me to, like, sit here and be like, okay, like, yes, I'm a black, like, bisexual man, like, that doesn't go well over with a lot of people. And for me to be able to, like, accept myself, I had to let the people, like, I had to first accept myself, but then I had to, like, have the people around me that support me accept myself. Ooh. And as soon as they did that, I was instantly like, wow, the people closest to me know me and they love me. And, like, the first thing I ever told was, like, my dog. And because I told my dog and he never treated me any different, like, my literal dog that couldn't talk, I was like... So you're saying that you said to your dog, hey, listen, I'm a bisexual, biracial, bipolar man, and this is who I am, and I accept it. Will you accept me? And so like, you're saying by being able to tell your dog there's something that's actually an animate... it's animate... Yeah, it's an animate object, but it can't say anything back to you. Did that give you some sort of relief in terms of acceptance and like just getting it out there? Because I had never heard myself say it out loud because I always keep things in my head. But when I heard it out loud, it sounded a lot less scary than it did inside of my head. And then to have something else like look at me and like be able to just not treat me differently every day. Mm-hmm. Like, it literally didn't matter if I literally had, like, a bone sticking out of my head or, like, a horn.
Your dog's gonna love you.
Yeah, like, and that was so unconditional. I was like, if any of my people treat me differently or any differently than my dog, then those people don't care about me. Because at the end of the day, like, if I have something that doesn't affect you in any way, like, why can't you just be happy for me and accept me?
So how did that translate in terms of, like, your friends, your family, and their acceptance and... how do you approach that? That's very heavy.
Yeah, for me, it was like I needed to talk. Like, I called Dante, and I was like really upset about it. Dante was one of the first people I called when I like found, like, kind of thought I was bipolar, and I was like upset about it. And he was just like, he kind of walked me through, and he's like, "This isn't really like that big of a deal." Like,
it's not.
And I was like, "Dude, like, are you kidding me?" Like, I just found this, and he was like, "You kind of knew there was something wrong. Like, you're just like not like a normal human being. Like, whatever normal."
One time, and I don't know if Taylor remembers that we were in Jake's car.
Oh no!
And he knows what I'm about to say. We were in. It's about to get real. We were in Jake's car, and we were going up to Kent Falls.
Oh my god!
And we're going up to Kent Falls. We're going to like cliff dive and stuff. This is in high school. Bro, I mean, like after like training, bro. Yeah, my Crocs got lost. Whole long story, but it's quite a few of us. There's some girls in the car. We're all chilling.
Daniel Herman.
And Daniel and Shannon. Shannon's in the car.
And Chris Marcus and Chris.
Yeah, he was in the cast. He was there. And he gets in, and Taylor gets butt naked in the front seat.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I said, all right, I've known this guy for a couple years. He's wild. But I think the craziest part, I wasn't taken aback at anything that was happening.
Right.
I wasn't like, what's going on? It just was like, okay, he's just having a moment. But then when you connect the dots and you get older and you say, oh, my dude's bipolar. This is just what he's just like,
I don't give a fuck.
like not saying that the bipolar part is like the major thing. It's just, this is just another part of him. This just gives him a little bit more spice.
And when he called me and said that, I was just kind of like, yo, but like, you're Taylor. Like, so what?
When you
like,
said that, I was like, Oh my god!
Because that's
started
really how it
crying.
is. Because it's
started
like
crying.
I didn't want you to think like, oh, I'm bipolar now. Like this is something that I have like that I need to like solve. Like it's like, what do you mean you guys solve? Like there's nothing to solve. This is just your personality. And like I think there's a lot of things in our like right now where people put a label on things. And don't get me wrong. People I know, like Kevin, my housemate, he was really bad. Has a really bad bipolar issue.
Oh,
and
okay.
like,
So he's not
and he has a mental health
controlling
podcast, and he talks
does.
all about that
Shout
stuff.
out-
Shout out to Kevin
What's the name of
Meiselman.
it?
Kevin Meiselman, Kevin Meiselman podcast.
Big ups, Kevin.
Yeah, God bless him. And but like when
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening.
when Taylor told me that, I was like, dude, like, this doesn't take anything away from who you are. This is just who you've been the whole time. Like, just because there's a name to it now doesn't change anything else. Like, I mean, I love this man because he's crazy. Like, like Taylor and I have been boys for like what 9 years at this point now. Like if I didn't know he was crazy by now,
because you met him your freshman year in high school.
I think 8th grade, right?
Or 8th grade.
Was it 8th grade?
So 10 years.
9, 10, 11, 12.
And then I met you guys when you guys were sophomores, so 8 years. So we're all right here.
Yeah.
So we're all right here. We're all super connected. Wow. wow. Okay.
Going back to what I would do different if people didn't judge me. I was thinking about that for so long because I was deep dive into my past. Mm-hmm. Because like the past few years, I don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah.
Like legitimately. Like if you're not in my inner circle, like then it doesn't really matter, because if you're in my inner circle, then whether you have something positive or negative to say, it's important what you have to say to me. So it's like I will create whatever action I make. If you have a negative like comment about it, it's cool to tell me. Like I want you to say like, "Yo, Dante, why the fuck did you do this?" Like if you say that to me, I'm like, "Oh, like my boy cares about me." Like, and it's like, bro. But if you're not in that inner circle, like, why does it matter? Because it's like I associate with
their
people.
Opinions don't even matter.
It's like I associate with people that like I like aspire to, like I look up to, and like I associate with people that are like minded with me and like good people, and like people I know that like I could see myself like in the future with, like. And I think that when it comes outside of that circle, when you start associating your ideas on yourself with people that don't associate in your inner circle.
They don't have the same ideals, the same goals, the same energy.
Right, because
you're super big on energy.
If someone calls me out in my inner circle, I'm super cool with that. I want to know like their opinion, whether
because
I
you know it's
or
honest
disagree.
and it's
But
genuine.
It
Exactly.
means more. It's not from someone who doesn't know me. It's from someone who like either has studied me, observed me, and knows like what that could actually do long term.
So it's like if you're not in that inner circle, that opinion doesn't really matter that much. Even if you're saying something so great to me, like even if you're like, dude, like this is amazing, like blah blah blah, like don't get me wrong, like I would be super appreciative of that, but it still wouldn't mean the same if like you told me that you were completely amazed by something I did.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've seen me grow,
it's
you
the
know who I
value.
am as a person, like you know my perspectives on things.
As capable of things I know you are, I am incapable of knowing like what you're capable of, because it's insane. Because like if someone looks at you and they're going to put you in a box and say this is what you're capable of, they don't know you, because I know you, and I know that I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, this is what he's going to do in 10 years, because you can do whatever you want to do. And I think you've realized that, because I've never seen somebody in a sense similar to Jay, where like you're doing investments here, you're doing a club here, you're getting an internship here, like you're always shuffling the deck. And I'm like, oh my God, like just from knowing you, I know I need to be shuffling my deck. So not only are you doing everything you have to do, but it's making me feel like, oh fuck, okay, well now I need to get a jump start on, because like
Iron
there's no way to be
sharpens iron.
like, yeah, dude. And I feel like we always say real recognizes real. So even if someone's not in our circle and they're still doing things, they have different morals, but they're still getting the hitting those bells that they want to and reaching their goals, we acknowledge that. And we're like, I would love to work with you. I would love to like see what you do. And we're never saying like, look, we can't learn from people that are not doing the same things as us, but it's just so much easier that it comes from like within, you know, it's like within the hive. If I go and see you doing something, I'm way more going to be like, oh wow, Jay's going out doing the podcast. That's something I want to be a part of because I know that he's going to put so much into it. So I have no problem sacrificing my own time because I'm going to benefit from it most likely, and I did.
Taylor's my Eddie Bravo, and Dante is my Brian Callen.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely going off of, we talked about love, we talked about acceptance, we talked about passion, motivation. So I got 2 questions, but the first one is, what is your definition of love? Okay, and then the other one is, what's your thoughts on, just to sort of wrap up the mental health thing, your thoughts on mental health. So maybe we could tackle your thoughts on mental health first, and then go to what is your definition
For
of
love, though, I do just want to say unconditional weakness. Like, you are...
So vulnerability.
100%. And it,
Okay,
like,
let's
when you
tackle
say you
that.
love someone unconditionally, like, unfortunately, the more love you have for someone, the less likely you are to see their flaws. And you tell yourself, oh, no, it's good, it'll get better, because you're so in love. And then you see, as people tend to fall out of love for actions or behaviors of any kind, you kind of see more of the ugliness, and you make that ugly real, and you believe into it more. And instead of looking for love, you look for reasons to fight against love. So I feel like love is a chemical that's like, as much as it's beneficial to a human being, it can be equally as toxic. Like, it's a medication that can go both ways, and it can expire real quick. And it also can have a shelf life of as long as it needs to like do its job. But I think love,
Oh God.
is commonly misinterpreted with
So what's your definition of love? So if I had to say, love encompasses X for Taylor, whether it be vulnerability, whether it be sacrifice, whether it be whatever. What does it encompass for Taylor? And then I'm going to come back to Dante and get him too.
For me, I feel like it's just selfishness. Like, if I have to love someone, I can't be selfish in those.
So then by that you have to be selfless.
Yes.
So all right. So selflessness. You talked about vulnerability. All right, Dante. What are you thinking about?
Yeah. You have to be very... I feel like it's very hard. I think love is like... it starts off with a chemical reaction, which like is kind of just like affection and like your natural like, oh...
So you think that love is just a chemical? Or?
No.
What do
I
you
think
mean?
it starts with a chemical, like attraction and just wanting to be with a person, whether it's based off of their looks or their personalities. I think that's what starts.
So at first that physical attraction
is the chemical reaction. That's what it starts. But
Are you talking
love
with a female, or what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Like someone who you're physically attracted to
On a cellular level.
or a male. Okay.
On a cellular level, I think he's talking about, like, it starts where you see someone and you're like, wow.
That person's striking.
And it's like you're struck by like how they look, and like when you start talking to them, you're like, well, we have a lot of similarities.
Wait,
and it's just like a bunch of chemical reactions.
You're right, and I feel like for me, every single person I meet is a potential candidate to like generally fall in love for or like to be with. Okay. So when I do see people, I have to treat people very differently based off who they are. And I know you say that like you're supposed to do that and adapt to situations, but like if I'm talking to a dude that I like, I'm like, okay, well, I want him to see the best part of me, but I also want every girl to see the best part of me as well. So it's like,
so it's much different for you.
It's much different
because of how you identify sexually.
100%.
Opposed to someone who's heterosexual, it's a whole
like,
different game.
It's like, well, you know what I mean? So everyone I meet is a possible contender. So I have to like constantly be like on my shit. And if I'm not, then I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Like, you ugly anyways. Like, I gotta have that built-in, like, wait, it's not me, it's you effect. So, like, I'm gonna just keep doing me.
But yeah, so I think it starts with chemical reactions, but then I think it takes, like, it's willpower and selflessness. Because it's, like, you're not just, like, if it's true love, like, you're not just living for yourself anymore. Like, you're living for, like, another person.
You become weak, bro.
But you have to think about it this way, like, as we just said, like, maybe like a half hour ago, it's like everything in the universe changes. So, like, the person that you might love for, like, a year or 2 years might not be the same person 5, 6, 7 years.
Best of all time at the time, though.
Deadass. It's like
Shout out, Ye.
people change. And it's
Shout out, Ye.
so if it's true love, even though people change, you have to be committed to, like, understanding that there's change coming and that you still will love this person based off of what you met them as, and you will work towards it.
So
I feel like
it's fluid.
One of the reasons why I never left my like girlfriend was because like she understood and she knew and like she didn't judge me. So I was like, where else would I find someone that would just not judge me? Let me do what I want. And for that, I liked I liked that aspect of it. There were other things that I would change, but just being like accepted and not having to like hide who I was a big thing, and being like, okay, like this can definitely fly, this can float.
So what do you think about this? Well, after I say this, I'm going to read different types of love, but first I'm going to say this. My friend Niles, shout out Niles, big up Niles. Niles said that I thought that love was tolerance.
Wow.
But and then I realized that's not it at all. If I can just tolerate you, that doesn't mean I love you.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't really like that definition.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Because what I think about that is I connect it back to high school or other stuff like this, where we're like, okay, well, I tolerate this girl, or for in Taylor's case, I tolerate this boy or whatever, and it's like, okay, I tolerate you in my space, but do I love you? Like, what's the difference between tolerating you and you do stuff for me?
I feel like when you
know what I
really
mean?
love a person, it's like you really realize relative time. It's like, and it's crazy. Like, if you want to talk about time relevance and like break it down to like a kindergartner, putting your
Straight up.
hand on a stove and holding it for a minute
That's hot.
is hard. Hanging out with someone you really love for 1 minute is nothing.
It's
That's
the
a
easiest
quarter of a
thing ever.
second.
Absolutely right.
It goes like this. But you put that hand on the stove, it feels like 10 days. You can't hold your hand on that stove for a fucking minute.
I feel like
And it's like, I
Yeah.
think when you're in love and like you really love the person you're with, like you can be with them for a whole day and it just goes by in a flash. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's not tolerance.
I think it's more of mutual, and like for love to be love, it needs to be mutual. It needs to be
Absolutely.
equal. Because if you have someone that will run a mile for you, why would you not want to run 2 for them? And why would that person not want to run 4 for you? You can never have someone that wants to run with you, but isn't willing to run for you and run with you. If they're going to part off in the other direction, then okay, well, I loved you, but I loved you then, and you were good for me then. But that doesn't mean that you're good for me now.
So
And we
you
will
think
always-
that you can outgrow relationships and
100%,
love and
but,
circumstances?
but those memories and those loves, you keep
Always be
those,
with you,
and
yeah.
those will. That's if you to be able to love, you need to have experiences, because you need to know how to love, and you need to be able to watch out for certain things and certain signs of like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which like is
Ooh,
essentially.
explain that.
That's a good one.
So the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are basically 4. Can you Google it? Because I want to get it right.
Yeah, I got
but
you.
there's 4 different things to look out in every relationship, and one of them is like defensiveness. So if you have someone that is constantly defensive with you, that's a sign that it's not going to work out.
Wow. That's big. Wow.
And these are the horsemen of the apocalypse, because when they come and there's 4 of them, your relationship is essentially over. But you have these things that I want to like. What does it say like exactly what the 4 are? Because there are 4 main ones, and it's slipping my mind. But
Well, I'm looking it up right now, and it talks about it like in
Defensiveness.
Christianity. It's a lot about symbolism with Christ. But you're talking about in terms of love.
yeah, do the 4 horsemen.
I think I know what you're
Apocalypse of
talking
love.
about. I don't know if it's the 4 horsemen of love. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it's the 4 horsemen. I think it's called something else.
Okay,
could
I
be
see what you
wrong.
mean.
It's in psychology.
It says Gotham dubbed these themes the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They are criticism, defensiveness,
Yeah.
contempt, and stonewalling.
Yes,
While
bro.
most relationships will have some of these, healthy relationships don't use them nearly as
Yes.
often and do more to repair them when they are used.
Yes, so like those
So a lot of that is acknowledging when it's
100%.
happening.
Yes, because
Saying, I'm going to heal through this with you. Why is it happening? Tracking the pathology of why do you feel like this? Why are you defensive? Why are you
100%. And
critical
that's why
of
when
that?
I see people
Okay.
that are like, I want to do therapy. Okay, well that's great.
Okay,
If you have
wow,
one person
wow,
that
wow.
wants to go to therapy, they want to make that improvement. They want to see that change. But you need to have both parties. You can't just go and tell your kid you're going to therapy and think that there's going to be a change. That kid needs to want to see that change so that they can take whatever energy they have and make it into a positive. You can't just force it on somebody. So when you have a relationship, you need to have 2 people that are running this race at the same pace at the same time, and they're on the same level. Whether that's communication, goals, or anything that it is, there needs to be clarity. And if you can't communicate how you feel, even when it comes to sexual things in the bedroom, how are you supposed to communicate when you don't need to use words, or when you don't need to use your body, but you need to use words? And that's why I think yeah, if the sex is great, okay, great. Then you guys have great sex, but that doesn't mean that you should be in a relationship because you do. Because when it comes time to words, you don't have the words. You don't have that relationship to fall back on. So when you keep hooking up and you don't talk about what's the actual issue is, you're not going to see a change. And you need to fully understand that your relationship may be one thing one day and it may change the other day. And just like Dante said, if you're not adjusting to those certain changes, then you're actually fighting the cause on the other side, and you're not going to make it better for either of you. You know what I mean?
So going off of that, and of course, Dante, you can talk about this. Let me just read the different types of love, right? So it said there's 8 different types of love according to the ancient Greeks. There's one agape love, unconditional love. This is normally associated with when we talk about God or higher spirit. There's this unconditional love that, as like a Christian, I talk about, and a lot of different people talk about, right? So agape love. There's eros, romantic love, like you were talking about, lust more so, and sex and physicality. And then there's affectionate love. Philia, like brother Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Philia, okay. And then there's philiautia, self-love, right? And then there's storge, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, familiar love, okay? Storge can be defined as familiar love, although that's a strange term. It says this type of love looks and feels a lot like philia, affectionate love felt between friends. However, this love is more like a parent-child love. Then it says pragma, enduring love. The ancient Greeks define pragma as enduring love. In other words, is also the opposite of eros, sexual love. So it's not sexual love; it's the opposite of that. So enduring love is the opposite. So not agape, not romantic, but enduring, like over time. Like I will constantly come back to you and be really, really involved with you.
Those ones are always like the ones that you're caught up on, where like the relationship's good and it was good then and it went bad, but you're caught up on the good times.
And then you're stuck in that, right? So
It's
and
a
then
cycle.
yeah. So then there's
It's a
ludus,
cycle.
It's a cycle.
which is playful love. Right, ludus is known as the playful love. Like when you guys have different relationships with different people, it's very playful, and we can vibe and go back and forth. And there's mania. Mania, as you know, is obsessive love. Right, I just can't get away from this person.
But the thing is, each love is bestowed upon someone by what they've had or what they are searching for. So, like, you have people that have been loved, but then you have people that have certain daddy issues where, like, maybe that is the mania because you're looking for that affection of a man that's older than you or that can take care of you. And that's from your relationship that you already have. So based on what you know love is and what you want are 2 different things. And I think that is like something that people are constantly caught up over because you may want something, but think about how many people that had to live in a life where like being gay wasn't allowed. Like there was even stuff in the White House absolutely. Where they were like, no, he's not gay, but he just sleeps with men. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just something you do. It's not acknowledging the actual feelings of or the different, like we just talked about, the different types of love surrounding that.
100%.
It's just
and
whatever.
I would equally say, as much as I am like bipolar, I'm a little bit narcissistic where I'm like, I do like walk out and I'm like, damn, like you're the best looking nigga in this room. Like you look really good right now. And I'm like feeling myself, but I don't know if that's inside of me and that's like my self-fulfillment prophecy. Like I want to go do big things, and if I go and do those big things, is it because I said that I could do it or because I felt like it was there for me to go and take? You know what I mean?
You don't know if that's that self-love.
If that's that like, wow, like I'm gonna push myself up there, and I don't want it to mean like I'm doing things that I shouldn't be to get to where I have to get, but like because I feel like I'm entitled to those things. Like Elon Musk, let's say, he has so much financial backing, and he's so smart that is he above the law? Like if he wants to open that up, like his company up, is he saying, okay, like I get everyone else has to follow the rules, but I'm not going to follow these rules. Like I'm above the law. Like what makes him say he can be able to do that if he's living in this realm? You know what I mean? With everybody else.
Well, money talks.
Money does talk. So now are you telling me, okay, well, financial security is my only way of freedom. So if I have money, I can do whatever I want. Like, can I go kill someone and get away with it? We see people disappear
in
in the
this
government all
society.
the time.
In this society, absolutely.
100%. So now I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I just want to be rich and take care of all the people close to me. And by doing that, I can show them that I love them. And that's like a different form of love, you know?
Yeah. Shout out to Jonathan Lewis, the 5 love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality of time, and physical touch. We talk about that a lot. Just a little shout out. But yeah, Dante, what's your take on that? On the different types of love? Is there any one of these types of love that you specifically try to connect with, or that you focus on within relationships? I'm talking about the 4 apocalyptic loves and stuff like that. I could repeat anything you want me to.
Love is good. People gotta stop being so scared.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's cool. I don't know what else to say about that.
Shout out Jonathan Lewis. I see you on the Instagram Live.
That shit can hurt mad bad, but like I don't know. I feel like there's certain things in life that it's so worth like the risk to do them. Like there's very little things I feel like that do it like make us human still, but like love is it's just an overwhelming feeling that's
I'm going to
so...
fuck you up right now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What about people that are like pedophiles that love children? And
That's sad.
That is overwhelming.
And it's really sad.
But
Because
is that
is
a
like an
love
actual mental
or-
illness, but
Yeah.
it's
It's an
treated
illness.
like it's a criminal. And like,
It should
because it morally, it is like something you could never think of, which is like horrible. If something ever happens to someone that you care about, or you hear something, you're like, that is absolutely horrible. But that's someone that actually has a mental illness, like bipolar disorder. Like, they used to say that being gay or being transsexual, those are like disorders. Like there's something completely wrong with you. They moved gay being out of it, but they kept transgender in it because they're like, there's something physically wrong with you if you want to change. And it's like we look at things for such short solutions. Like we want you to change right away. Like don't do that anymore. Negative reinforcement.
What's horrible about that is like, one, it's a horrible, disgusting act. Like the
100%.
act of it is so
It's
disgusting
heinous.
that it's like when you think about it, it's like this person needs a negative like reprimandation for what he just did. But at the same time, it's like that person probably did that act. Most likely, I mean, I don't know if I've ever met any of them or if I've not because I hope to God.
Definitely have, because it's regular people that you meet on.
Yeah, but it's like at the same time, what happened to them in their life?
It's exactly
for
that.
to happen. Because
Exactly
like
that.
you can't just go about living a fantastic life and like have that thought in your mind like this is not a normal thought. Like no normal human being thinks that way, and it's like instead of it being like treated as something you go to jail for, like it should be treated as a psychological issue, and like that's the only way it'll get fixed. Like
And you're talking about sexual predators.
yeah,
Okay.
It's like you need to like figure out a way like
Because people, there'll be adults that have children that they love, but they're imported from wherever and they're sex slaves and they bought them and they take pictures of them and all that crazy stuff. But they love them. Deep down, that is like someone that they actually love and they want to care for. And they're hurting the other kid in so many different ways, but because they love them, they can't see that. And that's why I think love is weakness. Because even if there are immediate issues...
Going back to the different types of love, that mania,
100%,
that
and
obsessive love.
100%, and because their love in every single area will make you blind to a certain extent, where you can't see the outside because you're not stepped outside. But from someone who isn't attracted to children, I can say,
Yeah, like
wow.
I mean, most people. Let's just clarify
yes,
that.
like most like, I look at these people and I'm like, it must be so horrible because I know, like, even if you're a gay closeted person, it's so horrible to not be able to be yourself and not be able to be accepted
live
by
who you
society.
are.
And if you have no control over that, how can I actually hate someone that has no control? It's like something like race, because it either happened to them or it's something
We
that they're
can't
feeling.
judge you
and there's
on
not a
something
safe
you
way
can't
to-
control.
what do you think the best thing is to
Okay.
do? Like, how do you think like we deal with this as a society? Because like when you think about it, it's like when people hear about this, it's like the first thing that comes to your mind is like, oh, that person like should go to jail. Like that person needs to
people
die.
like
But it's like,
riot and like
but it's like-
attack people.
So
That's not how you're
so
not
then
solving
do you
an
think there should
issue.
be like a therapeutic approach to it in terms of like, all right, let me like rewire your brain.
I think that
opposed to
like
just putting you in jail. Is that what you're saying? Or
If you're
you
telling
can't go
me-
to jail. Jail is not the right option. But then like to be like, oh well, this person just needs therapy is also not the right option. Like that's not gonna like.
well, so
fix it.
you're saying that they should
there
be
should be, like,
penalized for what they
correction.
do, as well as having some sort of like rehabilitation in terms of therapeutic.
If
So
I'm
they
being
should
honest,
be
maybe
coupled?
because I'm a person
Well, there's
that's
also-
not. Hold on. Because I'm not a person that's into this, I wouldn't know. But like, is there places you could go to talk to if you have like
Yes, there are.
interest in children? There are.
100%.
There are. There's a whole bunch
Okay.
of ones.
Yeah.
The thing is, there are not just one type of people that are into children. There are people that are into children that do act on those urges, and there are people that don't act on those
Well,
urges, and they still have them.
exactly, and
So-
there's different things. There's like deviant thoughts, right? Like we all have deviant thoughts.
Yeah,
thoughts that aren't like quote unquote normal. That we're like they come into our brain and we're like, oh wait, that's not normal. But we being quote unquote normal people, we shoot them out like that's not right, and then we continue our lives. But then there's the percent that act on those thoughts.
Yeah,
and they kidnap the kids.
And those are the people who kidnap kids or sexually abuse kids or watch child porn and stuff like that. And there are people who like work with these like I don't want to put some other people out there, but there are people who work with people who abuse children, and that's a whole different realm in itself.
Yeah, it
Because it's like
absolutely is.
how
Absolutely is.
because it's like
Because you're not doing it, but you're plugging it, which makes you just as guilty.
no. I mean on the therapeutic side. So it's like so even that's a little weirder part. 'Cause it's like how do we empathize with these people who are hurting children?
Yeah.
Ooh, how do we
And it's-
empathize? Not simple. How do we empathize? How do
And
we
it's
feel
something
their
that
pain?
People don't want. It's something that it's negative. People don't want to associate with it. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to know about it.
Yeah,
And it's
because
just like a lot
it's
of
one
other things.
It's one of those topics that's
Even-
like, oh, if it's not in my face, I don't want to think about it.
And that's what I was talking about with Dante yesterday when he was like, dude, if people had if they had special illnesses 30 years ago, they didn't necessarily know what those illnesses were, nor were they able to fully diagnose them or give them accurate data to help correct anything because people weren't concerned about that. Now, everyone wants to have that better life. The technology is at the highest it's been in a long time, and there are ways that we can correct that. So if you can correct someone from having polio or having some sort of disease that maybe makes them walk or whatever it is, why can't you use that same exact thing to correct their sexual thought patterns? Because you know what the sex is. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, you correct certain things, but that's going to like also destroy like the structure in which we've built our society on too. You know, like if you don't have people going to jail for those things, if you don't have people getting money and putting money certain places, like I don't know, like it's just kind of crazy.
Thank you for having me, Jay. I really appreciate it.
Yo, it's honestly just been such a pleasure, and I'll honestly quake your brain any day. Girth out.
That's it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. First episode.
Yeah, shut
was
the fuck
fun.
up, Jay.
It was fun. Let's
Yo,
go.
I had a great time. I want to do
we
this
actually
again.
talked about magic.
Yeah, I
That was
want to
good.
do this
That was
again.
really good.
Thank you guys. Wow. If you stuck around, if you sped up, I don't know. A lot of different stuff going on. As I said, again, this is the last of the series of those first 2 episodes. Thank you guys for sticking with me. A lot more content to come. He said, "I'll girthquake your brain." I don't even know what that means. I don't want to repeat that out loud. God, please forgive me. Listen, dudes are nuts. Super, super unique dudes. Interesting conversations.